Reliable and has a small footprint, but what about the waste?
It's not what you might think. No overflowing dumpsters or leaking barrels. Used fuel is safely stored in solid form after powering homes, schools, and businesses for years. All nuclear power plants in the U.S. store their used fuel responsibly to protect the environment.
Where can I learn more?
You can learn about nuclear energy and used fuel at energy-northwest.com. Energy Northwest, powering our clean energy future.
$5,000. That's the average amount of money people in the U.S. are now spending on gas in a year. $5,000. That's crazy. If you drive, you have to download Upside, the free app that gives you cash back every time you get gas. That's right. You can earn real cash back with Upside just by buying the gas you're already buying. You can literally start earning cash back today.
I use Upside every time I fill up, and I've already made around $300.
You're putting gas in your car anyway. Why not get real cash back? If you like free money, download Upside.
I'm saving the cash I earn from using Upside to help pay for a vacation later this year.
Download the free Upside app now to earn cash back every time you buy gas. Use promo code POWER to get an extra 25 cents per gallon on your first tank. You can cash out anytime right to your bank, PayPal, or a gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code POWER for a 25 cents per gallon bonus on your first tank. That's code POWER for a 25 cents per gallon bonus.
Hey, it's Joe at Town & Country Markets, and I've got my favorite mangoes of the year right now, the Keat Mango. It's a very creamy mango, and it can be full ripe when it's still green. Just slice in. You'll love every bite. See you soon at TNC.
KIRO FM and HD1, Tacoma, Seattle.
This is CBS News on the Hour, sponsored by O'Reilly Auto Parts.
I'm Steve Kathan. President Trump zeroes in on the Democratic governor of Illinois, one of the officials pushing back against the possible deployment of the National Guard in Chicago.
When I have some slob like Pritzker criticizing us before we even go there, I made the statement that next should be Chicago because, as you all know, Chicago's a killing field right now.
The city officials say violent crime in Chicago has been dropping. Trump has ordered more hiring of park police and prosecutors to back the Guard deployment so far in Washington, D.C.
We are at a point where Washington is booming again. People are pouring in like we haven't seen for years. Nobody wanted to come here. They didn't want to come here and get murdered.
CBS's Stacey Lynn reports the president today signed new executive orders.
The first order would eliminate cashless bail by threatening to revoke federal funding for jurisdictions across the country with lax bail policies.
They kill people and they get out. Cashless bail.
The second executive order cracks down on flag burning, mandating prosecution for those who do.
All over the country, they're burning flags.
It will also direct the Attorney General to refer flag desecration cases that violate state and local laws to appropriate local authorities.
Flag burning has been protected speech since a 1989 Supreme Court ruling. Legal maneuvering today in Baltimore. That's where ICE now holds Kilmar Abrego Garcia, the man at the center of the immigration crackdown. CBS's Camilo Montoya Galvez.
The Department of Homeland Security says he's now being processed for deportation to the East African country of Uganda. But his lawyers have now filed a new legal challenge trying to demand a full trial.
Overseas, Israel has ordered an investigation into 2 airstrikes on a Gaza hospital that killed 20 people, including 4 journalists. Now to Northern California, CBS's Carter Evans is covering a new major wildfire in wine country.
This is burning in the footprint of another fire that burned here about 5 years ago, and you would think that burned away most of the vegetation, and it did, but a lot of it has grown back. It is very dry now, so that's a lot of fuel for this fire.
Federal safety regulators are investigating more than 1 million Hondas and Acuras that could be prone to engine failure. Jeff Gilbert of WWJ Radio Detroit.
There have been 414 reports of V6 engine failures after a 2023 recall. Investigators want to know if the issue is wider than first thought. This investigation includes a Honda Pilot, Odyssey, and Ridgeline, as well as a number of Acura luxury models, most in the 2016 to 2020 model years.
Wall Street, the Dow is down 220. This is CBS News.
Think O'Reilly Auto Parts for all your car care needs. Get the parts and service you need fast from the professional parts people at O'Reilly Auto Parts.
The new search in the Cascade Mountains for alleged killer Travis Decker. But first, KIRO Newsradio traffic. In Seattle, traffic signals are flashing at Alaskan Way South and South Dearborn. Treat that as an all-way stop. The White River Bridge between Enumclaw and Buckley remains closed following a crash that damaged the bridge 1 week ago today. Travel times overall looking pretty good. Everett to Seattle, 24 minutes. Federal Way to Seattle, 44. Renton to Bellevue, 30. Traffic brought to you by KIRO News Radio.
KIRO News Radio, 97.3 FM, Northwest News. Now, the latest from KIRO News Radio and mynorthwest.com.
Good morning, I'm Heather Bosch.
Last of Decker, first of Travis, middle C. Charles.
Newly released body cam video shows a Wenatchee cop talking with Travis Decker after a traffic crash just days before Decker allegedly murdered his 3 young daughters. He indicated to the officer he did not have a permanent home.
Where you at now? I'm kind of in transit.
He gave the cop his estranged wife's address. Police found his daughters' bodies at a campground near Leavenworth June 2nd. Decker disappeared. The FBI is searching the area again this week. Agents aren't saying why, but Chelan County Sheriff Mike Morrison indicated earlier.
You will see soon. We have not given up. We're coming up with different approaches. And again, that's thanks to a lot of our partners that we have on staff. And we look forward to kind of talking about the next evolution of some of our search operations.
It's unclear whether Decker is dead or alive. The Coast Guard says the captain of a 1,000-foot container ship has been arrested after steering through Elliott Bay while drunk. Agents boarded the MSC Jubilee 9 last week after a crew member raised concerns. They say the captain blew more than 6 times the legal limit for mariners. Nails dumped on a busy highway in Pierce County landed a suspect in jail yesterday. More from KIRO 7 TV's Jason Sloss.
Troopers say a pedestrian threw the nails onto westbound SR-16 in Tacoma. Troopers and WashDOT crews had to close lanes while they gathered up the nails and swept the highway clean. That pedestrian was arrested and booked for malicious mischief.
Another weekend of freeway closures for maintenance. This time it was on I-405 from Renton to Kirkland. KIRO 7 TV's Deborah Horn reports it tested drivers' patience as they braved the heat.
You can hear the frustration coming from the vehicles, from their drivers too. So how is the closure on 405 affecting you?
To go to work, I have to take another route, so it's really hard.
WashDOT's Craig Smiley says the work is progressing well.
The Mariners' win against the Athletics yesterday wasn't just any victory. It featured this.
Goodbye, baseball upper deck, Cal Raleigh.
Oh, he wasn't done yet.
Cal Raleigh with his historic 49th home run of the year.
Cal Raleigh now has the most home runs in a single season by a catcher in MLB history. The M's face the Padres in Seattle tonight. This weather update brought to you by State Roofing and Exteriors. Sunshine with highs in the upper 80s. It's 66 in downtown Seattle. I'm Heather Bosch.
Your best source for local news, serving Western Washington and the world with the KIRO News Radio app. Always streaming live on your smart speakers. You're listening to KIRO News Radio, Northwest News.
This is the Gee and Ursula Show with G. Scott and Ursula Reutin.
Good morning, everybody. Happy Monday, August 25th. It is almost September, and it was hot as you know what this past weekend. But we got a beautiful week in store for us. Ursula, I'd argue that I got to experience, and you experienced one of the two of the best things that happened over the weekend that nobody's talking about, both in Tacoma and in Seattle. Can't wait to share with you all that at 9:47. And it goes to show you, Ursula, that when it comes to news and what's going on, the positive things don't get talked about first.
Oh, but we'd like to change that.
Yes, sir.
We do like to change that.
Ursula?
Hey, coming up at 9:30, thousands of students are heading back to class this week already. And what up with starting school before Labor Day weekend?
Sad.
I've never liked that.
No.
But I want to speak to the parents of college students and college freshmen specifically, because I know a lot of you are feeling that angst and maybe that mix of joy and sadness. I was just thinking about that and going back to when our boys went off to college and how that felt. We're going to talk about that and maybe what you can do and shouldn't do when your brand new freshman in college is saying, I don't like it here. I want to come home. I know a lot of folks are dealing with that right now, so we're going to have that kind of conversation coming up at 9:30. As always, our KIRO News Radio text line is open for you to weigh in, 888-973-5476, 888-973-KIRO.
Ursula, it is Benny the Tugboat Expert's birthday. It's his 69th birthday.
Happy birthday, Benny.
All right, Benny, happy birthday. Let's get to it. Ursula's top stories of the day, brought to you by Bath Fitter Northwest.
Parents at Arlington High School are angry after learning that a 14-year-old who was arrested last year for bringing a loaded handgun to campus might be back in the classroom when school starts next week. Jonathan Dunham's 16-year-old attends Arlington High, and he tells King 5 News the student should not be returning.
The fact that a child is bringing any type of weapon onto the campus is a safety concern. If you do it once, it's a sign of something that's wrong, whether they're doing it to show off or to actually cause violence. It's just, you take that variable away from the situation.
This boy was charged with a felony after classmates reported that he had carried the gun with a round in the chamber, the safety off, and an extra loaded magazine. Now, he's been out since then. District spokesman Gary Sable says under federal law, no matter what a student has done, they are still entitled to an education. That could mean online classes, the district's alternative school, or a monitored return to Arlington High with daily searches, no backpacks, and staff shadowing them.
Nothing is set in stone at this point. We're still working with the student's family to figure out the best option, both for them and for other students.
Parents are really upset because they weren't told about any of this until social media posts started circulating that he was coming back. In fact, one of our listeners texted us last Friday, said, have you heard about this student at Arlington High School? And I said we would try to do some research on it. The school board is taking up the issue tonight, but one father has already launched a petition calling for a ban on students with serious criminal records coming back to campus. And I'm curious as to what you think about this when it comes to guns on campus. What means more? What should matter more?
Well, real quick, you've been doing this show with me a long time. What do you think I think? Do you think that
You don't think that the student should go back to that particular school?
Absolutely not. And here's why. Because if this child is allowed to go back to school, that sets precedent for the next child that's thinking, hey, I wonder if I should just take this gun to school. It's cool. And like that person said in that sound, they said it perfectly. Whether they're taking that gun for violence or to show off, there is something wrong. And so for them to allow this, basically what they are saying to every child in that area that goes to that school, it's okay. You can bring one too. Nothing's going to happen.
It sounds like the district was more concerned about the student with the gun's rights and rights to return to an education versus what the parents and other students in that school should know, have the right to know. And the district is saying, well, by law, we have these privacy laws that keep us from alerting families directly. Now, I think that they could have done it even more in general, but what ended up happening is it circulated on social media and it was a runaway train and people were outraged. And I think for the safety of the students at Arlington High School and the safety of the student who brought the gun, he should be going to an alternative high school or some other thing, not returning to the same school. I think that's outrageous.
If he's a threat at one school, isn't he going to be a threat at another?
Well, and the other part of it, and that's a great question, and the other part of it is that they have to prove that he has had proper counseling, that he has to give up his right to have a backpack, as they said. I mean, he deserves an education. I think the best thing, even if we're not talking about an alternative high school, but alternative high schools have many students who have done something and again, still deserve to have an education. Mm-hmm. I mean, the best thing would be that he has an online education because he does deserve the right to still continue to learn, and you don't want one mistake to mean he is banned from an education for the rest of his life. However, again, what should be paramount is the safety of the students at Arlington High School.
Allie in Tacoma texted in, and did he do some time in juvie? Because Allie in Tacoma weighs a good question. She says, you might be right on this, G, but what's he supposed to do? He did his time in juvie, right? There's not an abundance of school up there.
He was expelled. Yeah, so he was expelled. So he needs to be expelled for a year. I don't know, and I didn't see anything about whether he actually.
Yeah. But let's just say.
But he's been out.
Yeah,
I mean, so.
But let's just say that that's the case.
Yeah.
Even if he were to serve some type of consequences outside of school, still, if we can all agree that there are problems that we have been talking about, have we not talked about school shootings in our country so often since Columbine? Is this not a continued conversation? So while, yes, every child has a right to an education, however, there needs to be alternatives to that education. And I don't believe, I'm sorry.
And there are alternatives.
If you bring a gun to school, there needs to be a hard line in the sand. That way people know that you cannot do that. I'm sorry. I don't care what consequences that you have served outside of the school. I don't believe, have the right to go back to that school, because other kids that do the right things, other families want to feel safe when they drop their kids off. Matter of fact, we're talking about back to school at 9:30 anyways.
Yeah.
So you want to feel safe.
You're absolutely right. But what they're using here is a federal law, and they're citing a federal law that says he is entitled to an education, however it is that they decide to do that. And
Online.
It sounds like the district.
Online.
Yeah.
Online.
Looks like, I can't tell if he's been in juvie or not, but it was a February 2024 incident, so I'm assuming he's had some legal process in the interim.
Okay, so we will continue to look into that, but I think you and I are on the same page on that one. Okay, speaking of punishment for guns and gun crimes, former Sonic star Sean Kemp has dodged jail time. So we found out about this. We found out about this after the show. So on Friday, he was sentenced to 30 days of electronic home monitoring after he fired shots in a Tacoma Mall parking lot. And before the hearing, he expressed remorse.
But I accept the responsibility for what I did. I should have used a better discretion. I haven't got this successful in life without using those discretions. And I'm very apologetic for what I did.
Now, prosecutors wanted 9 months behind bars, but the judge ruled that the circumstances warranted a lighter sentence. He pointed out that Kemp had tracked down men who stole his truck and memorabilia, and when they allegedly shot at him first, then he fired back, and no one was hurt. But again, the whole thing played out at a busy shopping center. And if you saw him in court, Kemp made the sign of the cross when his sentence was read. And afterward, he said he wants to speak out against gun violence, urging people to think twice when you get mad. So is this justice or is this a celebrity pass?
Before I answer that,
Yes.
Ursula, I just want to say, back in February 2024, the Arlington Police Department did take that student to Denny Juvenile Justice Center during that time. So anyway, back to the topic. Here we go. Let me say it again. This is one of my quotes that I like to give, and this is an opportunity to give it again. The criminal justice system, it cares more about the rich and guilty than the innocent and poor. We are consistently reminded of this daily, time and over and over and over again. And it's crazy. It's crazy. And by the way, I don't give a damn if you can dunk a basketball. I don't care what you can do with a football or a baseball. At the end of the day, right is right, wrong is wrong.
Yeah.
And we got to quit trying to blur those lines, and then we wonder why. Now, look, the same people that be screaming, oh, free my man, free him, are the same one when something else happens. I can't believe they got away with it.
Yeah.
What happened? Keep that same damn energy all the way across the board. Don't be all excited when your buddy gets off here, and then you be upset when this case didn't go like you like. Oh, I can't believe the injustice.
If you or I had an assault with a firearm charge, do you think we would get home monitoring?
Well, let me tell you. I'll speak for myself, Ursula. They gonna throw my under the jail.
Okay. Do you think it helped that there were supporters packing the courtroom?
Who was packing? Who was there?
At least 30 people were there in his support, including his pastor and former Seahawk Marshawn Lynch. it says in this report. Do I think that likely influenced the judge who's supposed to be weighing character and community value? Yeah, I think so.
Your Honor, in defense of my client, in begging for a lenient sentence, may I present Exhibit A?
Temple run across midcourt, dribbles by Johnson to the gut. Oh, thundering overhead slam!
I rest my case, Your Honor.
Holy cow!
Yeah.
Really?
He got away with something there.
You know what, Ursula?
That's ridiculous.
Before we continue, I just don't like the selections of your news today.
Why? I'm about to put a smile on your face.
Oh, you need to do something.
Yeah,
Because as of right now, the way this Monday is starting, I didn't do nothing to deserve this. I was minding my business, and you giving us this news like this.
I woke up this morning on this Sunday, Monday, and said, how can I really tick off G?
Jeez, man.
Okay, how about this? Cal Raleigh gave Mariners fans something that they're never going to forget yesterday. So in the first inning, he tied the major league record for most home runs in a season by a catcher. And then, just one inning later, he broke it.
Swing and a drive, deep to left field. More history. Goodbye, baseball, off the out-of-town scoreboard. Cal Raleigh with his historic 49th home run of the year. Cal has hit more home runs than any catcher in the history of the game of baseball.
This guy's on fire. There's still more than a month left to play. And the crowd at T-Mobile Park was not just cheering, they were chanting MVP until he stepped out of the dugout for a curtain call. And then I think that's what makes him so especially lovable, because he admitted he didn't even want to do that. He says he didn't want to look dumb. I mean, he is truly on fire. The Mariners ended up beating the A's 11-4. They're closing in on the Astros. Question: are we watching the start of one of the all-time Mariners, the kind that you bring up when you talk about Griffey, Ichiro, Edgar? I know what you're thinking right now.
I'm actually thinking that what you're thinking, but
Yeah.
there's another thing I'm thinking about too, though.
Okay.
But there is actually something I'm thinking about.
You still
You're right.
hate his nickname.
Yeah, I can't stand his nickname.
I know.
But there's something else I'm thinking about.
Okay, what are you
Because
thinking
you just
about?
asked a question.
Yes.
And your question was, is Cal Raleigh going to be considered one of the big greats? Okay.
He's already there, right?
You know me, y'all. I'm going to say what you're thinking, but you're scared to say it.
Okay.
Here we go. I don't think Seattle loves Cal Raleigh like they should.
Why?
I'm just saying. No. Let me get to it. You want to know why?
Because they gave him the name Big Dumper.
No. When I get on social media, I don't see people bragging about Kyle Raleigh. I still see people talking about Julio. It reminds me of the person that you wanted to get with that gal, or you wanted to get with that guy, and you wanted him, but yet your next door neighbor, good credit, great job, very nice to you, but you just don't want him. And that's sometimes how I think people look at say, this man is number one in the MLB in home runs. He gets no respect. It's his damn nickname. And they call him the Big Dumper. Imagine if somebody calls somebody Big Booty Judy. You cannot call people by their butt name.
Okay. So do you think he needs a redo? Do you think that's what it is? I think it's because he's so modest. He's so humble. I mean, he is just killing it this season. And he doesn't want to go out there for a curtain call because he doesn't want to look dumb. Like what? I don't think it has caught up with him. His level of talent has caught up with his lack of ego.
Here's the thing. In a sec, I'm going to want Nick to jump in on this conversation. Hear me out, y'all. We've seen this before. We've seen Griffey. How celebrated he was. We've seen Ichiro.
Flashier too.
Ichiro, and how celebrated he was. We've seen the big unit, Randy Johnson, and how celebrated he was. Pause. When it comes to Cal Raleigh, Nick, I'm just saying, I feel like he don't get the respect like he should. He's number one, y'all.
Yeah,
in home
exactly.
runs.
I don't even think he's getting the most respect on this team, let alone, the league. When you look at the odds, everyone's talking about Julio Rodriguez and the fact it's like, oh, Cal's getting all the credit. Julio should be the superstar on the team. We should be celebrating the fact that Cal Raleigh's having one of the milestone years of all time in all of Major League Baseball. I think he should be in the lead for American League MVP. But the fact of the matter is, he's in second place in odds in Vegas. Aaron Judge, who's been injured for part of the season, is still an odds favorite to win the American League MVP. That's how much disrespect Cal's getting. He's a record-setting season right now. He is on pace to break Mickey Mantle's switch-hitting home run record for a single season, and then Ken Griffey Jr. with 56 for the franchise. I think he's done a lot and more than enough to be the leader in MVP right now.
Okay, so Nick, I want you to put your look at you. I know G's giving you a toast, so you're agreeing with G. He's not getting the disrespect. You are on fire. So why? And I want you all to text in to 888-973-5476, 888-973.
I said it before, and I'll say it again. It's the West Coast bias. You think back about when the Seahawks won the Super Bowl back in 2013. They were under the radar the entire season. Why? We're out in the top left corner of the country. We're not on the east side where all the media is. But guess where ESPN is? Bristol, Connecticut, all right?
Okay, no, I hear you loud and clear on that. But what you said also, the team doesn't even treat him like that. I mean, I thought Dan Wilson was waxing poetic.
Because all of the weight is on Julio Rodriguez. And the contract that he's got, they have great high expectations for Julio right now.
And maybe that's why Cal's doing so well.
He's the dark horse that's just coming out of nowhere, which is a great story. But the question is Julio going to live up to that kind of potential? So that's the big headline. We got to celebrate Cal for what it is.
One last thing. Hear me out for a second. If Julio has 49 home runs today and leading Major League Baseball, come on, Nick.
He should be the leading.
He'd have every commercial.
He'd have every commercial.
Yeah.
And before we leave, Ursula, are you down with this nickname? Are you down?
Until Cal Raleigh tells me otherwise, I'm okay with it.
Fair. He said he loves it, so I'm with it.
Got the honey bucket endorsement, bro. That's big.
He embraced
huge.
Oh, you win on that one, Jeff. The honey bucket. 9:47. Ursula and I are going to tell you about two perfect things that happened in Seattle and in Tacoma over the weekend. But up next, summer's over and the kids are already planning to go back to school. However, we want to ask you, what does back to school mean to you? We'll talk about it next. Gee and Ursula.
KIRO News Radio, the Northwest's trusted news source.
Get the latest from KIRO News Radio's James Lynch.
It happened Wednesday morning just after 6 o'clock.
Experienced voices you trust.
Several people hurt after a violent Saturday in Pierce County.
Coverage you depend on.
More from KIRO News Radio's Matt Markovich.
It's as close to a veto warning as you could possibly get.
KIRO News Radio. We're on YouTube, our app, your smart speaker, and 97.3 FM.
Comcast Business High Five Hotline. What's the state of your excitement?
I signed my business up for the 5-year price lock guarantee, and I can't stop high-fiving people. High five!
Okay, deep breath.
High five.
You're in a good place. You signed your business up for 5 years at gig speed internet and advanced security, all on our ultra-reliable network.
Gig speeds and advanced security? I'm so stoked.
Yep, and you get it at a great rate that's locked in for 5 years.
Woo!
The high five is just your body's way of saying, I'm winning.
So this is natural.
High-fiving everyone you see in a state of business savings enthusiasm, totally natural.
Sweet! Thank you! Thank you! High five, everybody! High five!
The Comcast Business 5-year price lock guarantee is back, but only for a limited time, so sign your business up today.
High five!
Comcast Business, powering possibilities.
Ends 9/21/25 for new customers with qualifying bundle. Current customers may be eligible depending on services and area. Guaranteed rate applies to monthly service charge, excluding taxes and fees. Other restrictions apply.
Are you happy with how you're feeling these days? Are you slowing down physically or mentally? Ever wonder what your life will be like 10 to 15 years from now. Most of us don't really know how we're aging or if we can even do anything about it. But here's the truth. Knowledge is power, and that's exactly where we start at Longevity Medical Clinic. We run advanced diagnostics to find out what's really going on inside your body, and then we create a personalized hormone and health optimization plan designed specifically to help you live better starting now. Our patients are often amazed by what they discover in their blood work, and even more amazed at how quickly they start to feel like themselves again. This isn't guesswork, it's science, it's personal, and it works. Take the first step today. Call 425-633-1820 or visit LongevityMedicalClinic.com to schedule your free consultation. Longevity Medical Clinic. Feel better today and every day after that.
Send off summer with the power of zero at Kendall Ford of Marysville. Get 0% APR, make zero down payment, and have zero payment for up to 90 days on select new Fords. Go electric and save an incredible $17,000 off MSRP on a new all-wheel drive 2024 Ford F-150 Lightning Pro Crew Cab and get 0% APR. Save over $2,300 off MSRP on a new 2025 Ford Mustang Mach-E Select and get 0% APR. Save over $2,300 off MSRP on a new 2025 Ford Bronco Sport Big Bend 4x4. Check out the savings and stop by Kendall Ford of Marysville today. Kendall, let's start something great.
VIN number RWG 33493, SMA 24296, and SRE 72794. $20.83 per month for $1,000 finance, subject to credit approval to Ford Credit. Interest will accrue during the deferred payment period. All factor rebates subject to change. Price does not include taxes, title, or license. A negotiable documentary service fee of up to $200 may be added to the sale price of the vehicle. Subject to prior sales, see dealer for details. Offer expires 9/2/25.
This is the story of the one. As a safety manager at a manufacturing plant, he does everything he can to keep his coworkers safe. From finding ways to reduce risks to keeping safety supplies in stock. And for that, he relies on Grainger. Grainger offers a broad range of quality products and next-day delivery, so he can always play it safe. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm, and Chuck McDowell definitely not an attorney. This is Chuck. If someone talked you into buying something really silly and you want to get out of that silly little thing, my advice, get the facts. Call me and I'll send you our timeshare exit kit absolutely free. Inside, you'll learn how timeshare works and all your options for cancellation.
Call Wesley now for your free exit info kit. 800-486-9600. That's 800-486-9600.
Shop incredible end-of-summer savings at the Dania Furniture Labor Day sale. For a limited time, take up to 70% off select modern furniture and decor for every room in your home. Stop by one of our 4 local showrooms today or shop online at DaniaFurniture.com.
You still have 40 million plus vehicles globally that are driving around with a potential ticking time bomb, a grenade in either their steering wheel or their dashboard. When we look to what injuries may have transpired from a defective airbag, we generally see loss of vision in an eye, or we see facial lacerations. We also see hearing loss. Unfortunately, we started seeing death after death after death. When that passenger airbag exploded, it basically degloved his entire face. He lost his nose, he lost his right eye. The type of catastrophic injuries that one is more accustomed to seeing in a Hollywood movie, and not something from a device in an automobile that's supposed to protect you. Morgan & Morgan has a national reach in terms of handling and prosecuting cases. Notwithstanding the team of lawyers that we have collected that focus only on product liability day in and day out.
Morgan & Morgan. Visit us at badairbags.com for an office near you. Prior results do not guarantee a similar outcome.
KIRO News Radio, 97.3 FM, Northwest News. Now, the latest from KIRO News Radio and mynorthwest.com.
Good morning, I'm Heather Bosch. President Trump has just signed several executive orders, including...
You burn a flag, you get 1 year in jail. You don't get 10 years, you don't get 1 month. You get 1 year in jail. And it goes on your record.
The U.S. Supreme Court has affirmed flag burning is protected speech under the First Amendment. The president also signed an order allowing federal agencies to hire extra personnel to join the D.C. federal takeover that the president says has stemmed crime there. On Newsmax, Donald Trump Jr. suggested Northwest cities should be next.
Maybe we should roll out the tour to Portland, Seattle, the other, what we'd call, crap hole cities of the country, not because they're crap holes, but because Democrats made them so.
Kilmar Abrigo Garcia was accidentally deported once. Now, CBS's Camilo Montoya Galvez reports his attorneys are trying to keep him from being deliberately deported from the U.S. for refusing to plead guilty to human trafficking, which he denies.
His lawyers have now filed a new legal challenge trying to demand a full trial before any deportation to Uganda or another country.
Ukrainians say they're hoping for peace talks with Russia.
Because war is very scary and it's very painful. It's just horrible.
But that man through an interpreter says they do not want to give up territory seized by Russia, which launched a massive invasion in 2022. To southern Gaza. An Israeli strike hits Nasser Hospital, killing 20 people, including 4 international journalists. CBS's Chris Livesay reports.
A second blast was captured live on Egyptian TV. Witnesses said it came after rescue workers and journalists rushed to the scene.
In the U.S., thousands of homes are under evacuation orders because of wildfires in Northern California's wine country and in Central Oregon. The Picket Fire is the largest to hit that part of the state this year. It's already burned nearly 7,000 acres. The Bear Gulch wildfire is now burning on more than 8,700 acres in the Olympic National Forest and Park. Public Information Officer Molly Pittman says it's in steep, rugged terrain, but firefighters are meeting the challenge.
We have flown 2 wildland fire crews into the wilderness, into Olympic National Park to get ahead of the fire. They're going to work on wrapping some backcountry infrastructure, some bridges, to try to preserve those should the fire head that way.
The fire is now 13% contained. On Wall Street, the Dow is down 227 points, NASDAQ up 53. KIRO Newsradio traffic. In Seattle, traffic signals are flashing at Alaskan Way South and South Dearborn. Treat that as an always stop. The White River Bridge between Enumclaw and Buckley, remember that's still closed following a crash that damaged the bridge a week ago. Travel times continue to drop. Everett to Seattle now 22 minutes. Federal Way to Seattle 36, Renton to Bellevue 30, and your lake bridges have nearly cleared out. Traffic brought to you by KIRO News Radio. This weather update brought to you by State Roofing and Exteriors. Sunshine with highs in the upper 80s. Today, it's 70 in downtown Seattle. I'm Heather Bosch.
Your best source for local news. You're listening to KIRO News Radio, Northwest News.
Well, I've been afraid of changing 'cause I've built my life around you.
This is the Gee and Ursula Show, and that song is a bit of a tearjerker for me because it reminds me this time of year, as much as I love summer, but the end of summer was always so challenging for me because it was back to school. And even though I was excited for the kids to get back to school, it was like this big change. Mm-hmm. And it was especially difficult when the boys went off to college. Mm-hmm. In particular, our first, because that was the first time it was like, oh my gosh, life is really changing. Mm-hmm. And then if all your children are out of the house and it's the whole empty nest thing. I don't know if y'all listening right now can relate to that as a parent, but I was thinking about that as schools around the Puget Sound region are getting back to class this week. We're talking about Kent, Renton, Everett, Issaquah, and then many of the other ones are going to go after Labor Day weekend. Yeah. But I just remember the melancholy that I felt when Stephen in particular went off to college. And it was one of those things like, man, I was not prepared for this. Mm-hmm. And I shared with you, G, that on social media I was seeing a lot of students posting too, the freshmen in college going, oh my God, I am just absolutely miserable right now. And students were saying, I want to come back home. Or, the first couple of days already they're hating college life. It's not what they thought it was going to be. Listen to this one student who was sharing on social media how she felt.
I felt so homesick. I cried every single day for 2 weeks. My poor mother had to hear all of it. And honestly, I just wanted to go home. It's a new environment. It can be really scary, a new schedule. Your whole life just changed from what you've known.
And okay, I know there's already some people who are going to be saying, well, this is how it's always been. It's how it's always been. But I think especially like with the helicopter generation of parents, that closeness that you have with your kid and then all of a sudden they're gone. And I think it's a coping thing for the students as well.
Right.
Now, you had an entirely different experience.
Sure. You talk about for me,
yes.
going back to school?
Yes.
You talking military school?
Yes.
Yeah, it was a little different. 6th grade, 11 years old, pulling up to being away from your parents for the first time. Some people show emotion, some people don't. I did not show that emotion with my parents and everything. I was air quotes, I was tough, and then held on strong for a couple days, and then at night in my room in the barracks, I was in a fetal position in that bed crying. Now, I will say this though, being serious, a lot of that emotion recently has come back in my therapy sessions about what I really and what I went through as a kid during that time. So I don't want to rain on this parade because sometimes this back to school stuff is awesome moments.
Oh, absolutely. And for some people, it's like, oh my God, I'm finally out of the house and this is my freedom. Finally, I'm out.
Yeah. And real quick, to the parents out there that are debating if they should do back to school pictures and post them on social media, please do.
Yeah, you'll never regret it.
Please do.
You'll regret if you didn't.
There's people like me that love back to school pics. Yes. I don't care. Senior year, 6th grade, kindergarten.
Okay, but I want to. So, if you are one of those parents right now dealing with someone who is extremely homesick, best-selling author Mel Robbins says, that is actually a part of the college experience.
Oh my God, I remember that, crying on the bathroom floor at the beginning of freshman year of college. If you feel sad right now, it doesn't mean you're doing college wrong. You're actually doing it right. It's a mentally healthy response to miss your family, to feel sad, to be worried about not finding your people, to be overwhelmed by the amount of change. And the reason why most people are drinking their faces off and hooking up with whomever is breathing right now is because it's a way to run away from their feelings. Whenever they're not moving or doing something, they have to sit with the sadness or the boredom or the unknown. The fact that you're allowing yourself to feel what you need to feel and you're honest with it means you're going to move through this transition faster and in a healthier way.
I love Mel Robbins.
I know. I do. You got me on her.
Because she said something that people don't want to say out loud.
But yeah, you're looking for that kind of companionship. You're trying to fill a void that you're feeling. But whatever you do, and all the experts say the same thing, don't succumb to that feeling unless your child, who is now technically an adult, unless they are in danger of harming themselves. Encourage them to just stick it out. Do not say, come on home, even though your heart is breaking as well. Do not have them come home. Encourage them to do. I remember taking Eric to college. Now, this is our younger son who didn't show a lot of emotion. And he just wasn't as outwardly forward with sharing how he was feeling. And I just remember pulling up to Boulder the day of the drop-off, and I was thinking, well, this has gone really well. This has gone really well. And and they actually tell you in the college, don't linger. Just drop them off. Make it as easy as possible. Don't hang out because you're just going to extend the difficulty, right? And so I just remember we were like 2 cars away from our car being the one that they were going to open it up and, cheer and pull out all this stuff. And Eric looked at me and there was like a tear rolling down his eye. Yeah. And he said, what in the heck have I done? I mean, it was, but you know what? He got through it.
Right.
And parents, you're going to get through it.
Yep. Well, I want to, let's talk about this as we're getting back to school. And I think we as parents, and some of you are like, oh, I remember when I went back to school. And one of the things that I want to remind everyone of is that today going back to school is not like yesterday's going back to school. We didn't have social media
that's a huge
back then.
Thing, yeah.
And so I just maybe take this time to maybe ask if your child has any concerns going back to school. Is there anything that you would like to talk about? Because I really believe that there's a lot of anxiety that we don't recognize because, again, we look at this as if, oh, I remember it was tough when we went back to school and, first day of school clothes, school shopping. Well, there's a whole nother element. There's a whole nother unseen thing that is happening, and that is social media.
And
how many followers
bullying,
you have, and you don't have enough followers. And I think bullying, and if you can think, well, why do you say bullying is more in schools? Have you seen us adults? Have you seen us adults? look at us and the way we are divided in handling things, so you can only imagine how that transfers to kids. Hey, coming up next, we're going to tell you about the two best things that happened, one in Seattle, one in Tacoma, that nobody's talking about. Next, Gee and Ursula.
The John Curley Show.
I think the most talented person who's here, and it's John Curley.
By the way, that's my ringtone right there, Coach K.
Weekdays 3 to 7.
We were at this party when I said to you, what about Caitlin Clark? What do you about Caitlin Clark? And you said, Curley, you don't know anything about basketball. Let me tell you something.
Sue Bird is the ultimate point guard. I love Sue Bird. Seattle was so very fortunate to have her as her idol, as her hero.
Watch The John Curley Show live on YouTube.
If you want that summer body you've always dreamed of, then this message is for you, ladies, and you men too. Get rid of extra stubborn fat and address areas of loose skin around the waistline, chin, and under the upper arms with ProSculpt, the new one-day instant permanent fat removal and skin tightening treatment. Maybe you've tried the lasers, fat freezing methods, even those new pills, but without the desired results. ProSculpt is different. It's minimally invasive, performed while fully awake, gentle, yet powerful. Designed to target the waistline, chin, neck, arms, and thighs, ProSculpt uses FDA-cleared plasma technology to deliver immediate, permanent fat-reducing and skin-tightening results, all in just one visit. If you want that summer body this summer, then you must act now. Go to ProSculpt.com today to schedule your free consultation. Get $250 off. For instant, permanent fat reduction and skin tightening, visit ProSculpt.com.
The Subaru A Lot to Love event is going on through the end of August. Carter Subaru is the only dealership in Seattle with the 2025 Outback at 0% for 36 months. Or take advantage of the federal tax credit before it goes away and lease a 2025 Subaru Solterra. Get a credit of up to $7,500. Head into Carter Subaru in Shoreline and Ballard today.
On approved credit, subject to vehicle insurance and availability. Not all buyers will qualify for federal tax credit. A documentary service fee may be added to the sale price or capitalized cost. Carter Subaru is buying down the rate for the 2025 Outback. The maximum amount financed is $20,000. See dealer for details. Valid through 8/31/25.
Homeowners, federal tax credits on heat pumps end soon. Home Comfort Alliance can help you save up to 75% on new in-stock heat pumps with combined discounts, utility rebates, and expiring federal tax credits on systems installed by December 31st. These are new in-stock high-efficiency models that will make your home comfortable year-round. Federal tax credits expire December 31st, so don't wait. Visit HomeComfortAlliance.com. For all your heating, cooling, plumbing, and electrical needs, it's Home Comfort Alliance, the comfort people.
You hear that? That's the sound of your business losing money. Legacy phone systems weren't built for today's teams. OpenPhone gives your business a smarter way to stay connected. OpenPhone lets you manage calls, texts, voicemail, and contacts all in one place so that you and your team can deliver a seamless customer experience from ring to... Need to take calls on the go? OpenPhone automatically transcribes, summarizes, and highlights next steps from every call, so you never miss a detail. Need insight into what closes a sale? With OpenPhone's AI call tags, you can instantly spot key topics like objections or pricing questions, and use those insights to coach your team and level up every customer interaction. And yes, you can bring your existing number with you for free. Keep your team in sync and your customers happy with OpenPhone. OpenPhone. No missed calls, no missed customers. Try OpenPhone for free at openphone.com/free and get 20% off your first 6 months. That's openphone.com/free. openphone.com/FREE.
You're listening to Leaf Filter Radio, and the guru of gutter protection himself, Chris Coonahan, is here to take your most pressing leaf-related questions.
Hey, everybody, Chris here. I understand we have Ron on the line. Ron, where are you calling from?
Uh-oh. Ron, are you calling from a ladder?
Well, I was. I wanted to ask Chris what I need to do to get my gutters ready to have leaf filter installed.
Oh, Ron, you don't have to do anything. A Leaf Filter Trusted Pro will come out and clean out your gutters, realign and seal your gutters, and install Leaf Filter, America's #1 gutter protection system.
So I didn't need to get on this ladder?
Ron, Leaf Filter Trusted Pros are in your neighborhood and ready to help. Just visit leaffilter.com/radio to schedule your free gutter inspection and get up to 30% off.
Thank goodness. What was that site?
That's leaffilter.com/radio for your free gutter inspection today. See representative for warranty details. Promotion is 20% off plus a 10% senior or military discount. One discount per household.
I'm Ed Evans, CEO of Consumer Cellular. We're dedicated to serving people 50 and up like me. Our needs are different. Big Wireless wants us in an unlimited plan, but if you're not using all that data, you're probably getting used. At Consumer Cellular, we're focused on affordable, reliable plans, including data that suits your needs, not ours. Our plans start at just $20, and you'll get the best customer service in the business.
Call 1-888-FREEDOM, visit consumercellular.com/facts or a store near you. Plans include $5 credit for auto pay and e-billing. See site for additional facts.
Let's go! You're still glowing, flirting, grooving. You still got it. But your immune system weakens as you age, making it harder to fight flu, pneumococcal pneumonia, RSV, and COVID-19. Vaccines are a key part of any health routine and help strengthen your immune response. Ask your doctor or pharmacist which vaccines you need. Schedule in minutes at vaxassist.com. Sponsored by Pfizer.
KIRO News Radio has your chance to win 4 tickets to the Seahawks season opener, Sunday, September 7th. Open the KIRO Radio News app, click the Win tab in the bottom right corner, and enter to win. You can enter once per day, so the more times you enter through the KIRO News Radio app, the better your odds will be. Do it every day, August 19th through the 25th. Details and rules at mynorthwest.com/win. From the station with the 12s, hear the Hawks. KIRO News Radio.
Seattle just got called a crap hole by Donald Trump Jr. And now he's hinting that we could be next in line for the National Guard troops pulling up. What's behind the threats and how seriously should we take them? Retired General Barry McCaffrey joins us live at 10 o'clock to break it all down. Now, we need to share, Ursula and I, 2 of the best things that happened over the weekend that nobody's talking about. First up, I went to a very special event down in Tacoma. It was called Ready Day One. It was put on by the Tacoma Police Department. It was over 4,000 people that showed up to this event. It was more like a back-to-school thing, Ursula. The kids, the parents, the families, they had the food vendors out there. They had the screenings happening. They had, you take a ticket, you can go get you a winter coat. You take a ticket, they go get you a backpack filled with supplies. Over 2,000 backpacks filled with supplies.
Was this supplies gathered by the Tacoma Police Department?
It was Tacoma, but it was efforts. Well, they put it on, but it was efforts by all of them. The guy by the name of Bervin Smith, who works down there, was really in charge of a lot of things. He and both of the amazing people that helped out Bervin Smith. I know that he told me that Richard Sherman, part of his backpack. And the funny thing is about Richard Sherman is I had just talked to him a couple weeks ago, and he says, man, I'm tired. I was up till 2 a.m. packing backpacks with supplies. And so it was really cool that Richard Sherman was a part of this. But I got a chance to sit down with Officer Shelby Boyd with the Tacoma Police Department. Ursula, check this out.
Shelby, what does this day mean to you?
This is huge. I watch these kids all year long go through school. Some have resources, some don't. And so today it's Ready Day One, getting kids ready in Tacoma to head back to school.
And why is it important for the police department to be connected with the community in an event like this?
Because they see us on their worst days a lot of times. And so today is the day that they can see us on one of the best, the day that we can serve them.
I love that. How many backpacks? Good Lord.
There's thousands, like probably 4,000 maybe, but they're fully stuffed. Ready Day One, that's what we're about.
Love it.
One thing that I did not get to show, I do have video of it though, is the chief, Patty Jackson, on stage dancing. I got up there on stage dancing. Law enforcement all around. Shout out to the Tacoma Police Department. It was just the energy that was there. And the reason why this is important, Ursula, is because this type of stuff this is not front page news.
Mm-mm.
Not this. At the East Side Community Center, it was beautiful.
I love that.
Mm-hmm.
I love that. What she said about, oftentimes they see us on their worst days, but here it is. They're helping to essentially get kids off to a great start. That is something that is so important, something we hear about from another organization that we help, Treehouse, in that the kids just want to feel like everybody else and be prepared. And a lot of students don't have that going in. And so for them to do something like this is fantastic.
That was in Tacoma. Now, Ursula, we was together on Saturday. Your turn.
Yeah, we were. So we watched The Wiz. And you all heard us talk to our friend and colleague, Angela Poe Russell, whose daughter played Dorothy in The Wiz. So on Saturday night, we were there at Benaroya Hall, and the whole bottom section of Benaroya Hall was filled. I understand that the show was sold out yesterday, and I totally see why. It was... First, I was thinking, okay, I want to go because I want to see Angela's daughter, and you know, and it's just going to be great because I've heard little snippets of her singing, and I think it's wonderful, and I want to support her. That experience was one of the most moving things I have seen in such a long time, and it was because the joy and the pride that was in Benaroya Hall, where you see the families supporting these kids who have given up 10 weeks of their summer to do this performance. Now, you and I have shared that we can tear up when we watch a parade go by with kids, you know, banging the drums or whatever. I get all emotional because I just see this pure joy. And the talent on that stage was incredible. Incredible. I was touched. Even if you've seen and you know the story of the Wizard of Oz, or you've seen The Wiz before on Broadway or whatever it is, the story behind it and the messaging behind it is also, I guess right now, so important. But I can't emphasize enough, Maya Russell was incredible. To say that she can sing so beautifully, she can dance so wonderfully. She's a great actress. And yes, she did take her SAT that morning.
Yes, she did. I just want to just say this. If you are someone that wants to see a lot of good things happen in Seattle, I'd argue that what happened on Saturday, as a matter of fact, it opened Friday, it went Saturday and Sunday. I'd argue that was one of the most beautiful things. You got Benaroya Hall welcoming in acts on stage who puts it on. Big shout out to the executive director, Michelle. Big shout out to Isaiah, who gets down, it's the director. This was a top-notch event. It was a beautiful experience. I'm extremely grateful. There were 77 kids that dedicated and gave up 10 weeks of their summer
their parents were there to support them, their parents and loved ones, right? I mean, seriously, that's a big commitment.
Let me get out of this. Tell you this. You know how you go and see somebody's new baby for the first time, and you see the baby, and you show up, and you're like, oh, that's a pretty baby.
That's a baby. Interesting.
Interesting. Right, but this is one of those things you go to a play, and you think, oh, okay, yeah, it was cute. No. It wasn't
so
cute.
Good.
This was incredible. So shout out to Acts on Stage. Thank you for what you have done to the city of Seattle. And more people, by the way, I'm a donor. I give to Acts on Stage every month. Love what they do.
Yes.
All right. Ursula, they called us a crap hole. Donald Trump Jr. Now he's hinting that we could be next for the National Guard to pull up. So retired General Barry McCaffrey joins us live at 10 to break it all down. Gee and Ursula.
Mariners fans, it's time to bring the noise to T-Mobile Park. This lineup is loaded up and locked in. From every moonshot.
Now Raleigh obliterates this. How far? Way back there.
To every how in the world did he catch that moment?
And Julio makes the catch. No fly zone in full effect.
Be here as the squad shuts the door and lights the W.
Munoz looking for the final out. Here's the stretch, and the strike three called, and the ball game is over.
This is our house.
They're going crazy here at T-Mobile Park.
Mariners baseball. Try dance up.
The Mariners homestand continues tonight through Wednesday as the squad battles the Padres for the first ever Vetter Cup trophy. Plus, don't miss out on more marquee interleague matchups down the stretch against the Cardinals September 8th to 10th and the Dodgers September 26th to 28th. Get your tickets today at mariners.com.
Let's go!
You're still glowing, flirting, grooving. You've still got it. But your immune system weakens as you age, making it harder to fight flu, pneumococcal pneumonia, RSV, and COVID-19. Vaccines are a key part of any health routine and help strengthen your immune response. Ask your doctor or pharmacist which vaccines you need. Schedule in minutes at vaxassist.com. Sponsored by Pfizer.
What is your next success story? At University of Maryland Global Campus, you can succeed again with more than 135 affordable online degrees and certificates to help you move your career forward. From cybersecurity and AI to healthcare and MBA, our programs help you build critical thinking, leadership, and communication skills that set you apart in today's job market. Apply now and save with no application fee through September 3rd. Visit umgc.edu to get started. Certified to operate in Virginia by Chev.
Change is always happening. It's part of life. And when it comes to music, change is all around us. Songs are rewritten. Classics are remixed. Bands and artists come and go. Even our taste in music changes. Here at Xfinity, we know there's still good in keeping some things the same. That's why we want to do our part with a 5-year price guarantee on our internet. It means no matter what changes, you get 5 years of the most reliable Wi-Fi with our best equipment included for a price that stays exactly the same. Surprised? Life is full of them. One internet price, 5 years, guaranteed. Learn more at xfinity.com/deals. Restrictions apply. New residential customers only. Taxes and fees extra and subject to change. Most reliable Wi-Fi based on Open Signal Awards USA. Fixed Broadband Experience Report, August 2024.
This message comes from Viking, committed to exploring the world in comfort. Journey through the heart of Europe on an elegant Viking longship with thoughtful service, destination-focused dining, and cultural enrichment on board and on shore. With small ships that bring travelers closer to the destination, there's more time to explore. And every Viking voyage is all-inclusive, with no children and no casinos. Discover more at Viking.com.
Millions of Americans take medicine like Ozempic and Zepbound. Many of them are overpaying by thousands of dollars a year. These GLP-1 medications for diabetes, weight loss, and more may not always be covered by your insurance, but GoodRx can help. GoodRx helps you save every month on prescriptions at over 70,000 pharmacies nationwide. Best of all, it's free to use. Check GoodRx to save on GLP-1s. Just go to goodrx.com/GLP. That's goodrx.com/GLP. GoodRx is not insurance, but can be used instead of insurance, including Medicare and other federal and state-funded programs.
KIRO FM and HD1 Tacoma, Seattle.
This is CBS News on the Hour, sponsored by Progressive Insurance.
I'm Steve Kafin. President Trump touts his federal takeover of the Washington, D.C. police.
In the last 11 days, again, I hate to say it because it sounds so ridiculous, but in the last 11 days, we've had no murders.
White House correspondent Natalie Brand.
President Trump is expanding his anti-crime initiative in Washington, D.C., signing an executive order aimed at ending cashless bail, a policy where the court doesn't require some defendants to pay to get out of jail before trial.
That was when the big crime in this country started.
The order threatens federal funding for D.C. and asks the Attorney General to look into other jurisdictions with cashless bail in place.
A Trump envoy says officials are working very hard on security guarantees for Ukraine. President Trump indicated today he has spoken to Russia's Vladimir Putin since he met with European leaders.
We'll be involved from the standpoint of backup. We're going to help them. And I think if we get a deal, and I think we will, but if we get a deal, you're not going to. I don't believe you're going to have much of a problem.
Now to Baltimore. Supporters turn out as Kilmar Abrego Garcia is put into ICE custody, which could lead to him being deported to Uganda. CBS's Christian Benavides.
The Trump administration has claimed Abrego Garcia is an MS-13 gang member, which he denies. His attorneys have already filed a lawsuit to try to prevent his deportation for a second time.
Mexican drug lord El Mayo Zambada, who led the Sinaloa cartel with El Chapo, pleaded guilty today to trafficking in the U.S. Correspondent Carter Evans is in Northern California, where a major wildfire is burning in wine country.
We've got about 2,000 firefighting personnel on this fire. More than 200 engines, 65 bulldozers, and 10 aircraft. It's just an orchestra, if you will, orchestrated attack on this fire.
Israel has vowed to investigate the two-pronged air attack on a hospital in Gaza. The BBC's Yolanda Nell says 20 people, including 5 journalists, were killed.
Witnesses have said that the second strike took place after rescue workers and journalists went to the aid of the casualties from that initial attack. We think that was the Reuters position on the roof.
CBS's Jim Krasula on tech, money, and politics.
Silicon Valley is putting more than $100 million into a network of political action committees and organizations to lobby against strict regulations on artificial intelligence. It's seen as a sign that big tech executives will be very active at next year's midterm elections.
The Dow is down 200. This is CBS News.
Progressive Insurance, with insurance for cars, home, boat, motorcycles, RVs, and commercial vehicles at 1-800-PROGRESSIVE and Progressive.com.
There's newly released video of accused killer Travis Decker, but first, KIRO Newsradio traffic. In Seattle, traffic signals are working again at Alaska Way South and South Dearborn. You do have road work in parts of the city, so watch out for that. And remember, the White River Bridge between Enumclaw and Buckley remains closed following a crash that damaged the bridge a week ago. Travel times continue to drop. Everett to Seattle, 23 minutes. Federal Way to Seattle, 25. Renton to Bellevue, 23. You're a little jammed up over Montlake, but otherwise, your lake bridges are clear. Traffic brought to you by KIRO News Radio.
KIRO News Radio, 97.3 FM, Northwest News. Now, the latest from KIRO News Radio and mynorthwest.com.
Good morning, I'm Heather Bosch. Several campgrounds, roads, and trails near Leavenworth are closed again right now as the FBI searches for new clues in the Travis Decker case.
Late last week, Sheriff Mike Morrison foreshadowed the FBI's search.
You will see soon. We have not given up. We're coming up with different approaches. We look forward to kind of talking about the next evolution of some of our search operations.
One expert tells me special agents may be looking for a specific piece of evidence in a specific area near where the bodies of Peyton, Evelyn, and Olivia Decker were found in June. Morrison is also adamant Decker is the only suspect in the case.
All of our work points to one person.
Luke Ducey, KIRO News Radio.
Wenatchee police have released body cam video of a cop talking with Decker after a fender bender. The officer telling Decker,
"Have a better day."
They're all great days.
What's that?
I said they're all great days.
Yeah.
That video was recorded just days before Decker allegedly killed his 3 daughters. A Seattle City Light employee has filed a federal lawsuit alleging years of harassment, retaliation, and contract violations after she reported being raped by a supervisor. She later became a whistleblower in a misconduct investigation. The woman's attorney, Dale Cochran, tells KIRO 7 TV.
Seattle City Light administrators promised her that they would protect her, that they would make things right, and instead it got horrific.
KIRO 7 has reached out to the city attorney for comment. Over the weekend, I-405 closures caused traffic headaches for East Side drivers. This commuter telling KIRO 7 TV.
To go to work, I have to take another route, so it's really hard.
With record-setting temperatures, WashDOT's Craig Smiley added.
So the full scope of the weekend work that was planned was done. And since it's going so well, we're able to get a little extra work in there that wasn't initially planned.
No closures planned over Labor Day weekend. It was a career day for 2 Seattle Mariners yesterday. While Cal Raleigh made a record-breaking 49th home run of the season, M8's pitcher Logan Gilbert broke his own personal record on the mound.
That's the strikeout number 13, a new career high for Logan Gilbert. A nasty breaking ball in the dirt again.
The Mariners beat the Athletics 11-4. The M's face the Padres in Seattle tonight. This weather update brought to you by State Roofing and Exteriors. Sunshine today with highs in the upper 80s. It's 71 in downtown Seattle. I'm Heather Bosch.
Your best source for local news, serving Western Washington and the world with the KIRO Newsradio App. Always streaming live on your smart speakers. You're listening to KIRO Newsradio, Northwest News.
This is the Gee and Ursula Show with G. Scott and Ursula Reutin.
Hey, good morning, everybody. It is the Gee and Ursula Show. Welcome into the 10 o'clock hour. Happy Monday, August 25th. Ursula, good morning to you.
Good morning, G. Did you realize that next weekend is already Labor Day weekend?
Come on now.
Which means do you look at that as summer is officially
over? Not next weekend, this weekend.
This coming weekend. Yeah. I know it's Monday. It feels still like this.
Yeah, I do.
Isn't that crazy?
I can't believe it.
It really is crazy. Text us. Our text line is open for you, 888-973-5476, 888-973 KIRO. Welcome to all of you on YouTube as well. You know, my sister Tina has been mixing it up with some of the folks on YouTube. And so she said she got into some great discussions last week.
Really?
So I don't know if she's going to be on there today.
I love Tina.
I know. I do too. But thank you, Tina. Again, we've got a very packed hour for you. So let's get to it.
What's new at 10?
At the order of President Trump, 6 GOP states have now deployed their National Guard troops to Washington, D.C., joining together with the D.C. National Guard in what is being framed as a law and order initiative under a crime emergency. And we did a quick fact check on that. In 5 of those states, Ohio, South Carolina, West Virginia, Mississippi, and Louisiana, there are more than 60 cities that actually have higher violent crime rates than D.C. We also learned over the weekend that Secretary of Defense Peter Hegseth has now authorized those troops to be armed. Meanwhile, the Pentagon is actively planning a deployment of several thousand Guard troops to Chicago, which has also seen double-digit decreases in terms of violent crimes. And then on Friday, Donald Trump Jr. brought up Seattle during a Newsmax appearance.
Maybe we should roll out the tour to Portland, Seattle, the other, what we'd call, crap hole cities of the country, not because they're crap holes, but because Democrats made them so. Yeah. Maybe we're going to expand this.
So should we take that seriously? Joining us now is retired 4-star General Barry McCaffrey. General, good morning.
Morning to you.
Thank you also for joining us on video. So let's just start with that. What risks come with using soldiers for policing roles in American cities?
Well, look, there's a lot involved in this whole thing. First of all, let me start by saying thank God for the National Guard. There's 430,000 troops. They're our friends. They're our neighbors. They fought with us in Iraq and Afghanistan. They deliver mail. Anytime there's a crisis, they show up in the middle of the night, wildfires, floods. So they're not at fault. We should trust and treasure them. Having said that, the whole thing's a political stunt by the Trump administration. There is no way that the National Guard, which, by the way, their training time is precious to us, 1 weekend a month, 2 weeks in the summer, they're not trained to conduct arrests, to collect evidence, to testify in court. They don't know the neighborhoods. It's all nonsense. They certainly shouldn't be arresting citizens on the street. The optics are anti-American. So that's a second observation. But I think the third one also needs to be made. The Democrats, who have lost their power as a political party, are attacking Trump on the wrong thing. These cities actually are insecure. Our city's insecure, this beautiful, wealthy city of Seattle. With homelessness, drug addiction, mental health unaddressed, the police undermanned. So that's really not the issue to go after this. The wrong part of it is we see Trump ruling by decree. This is quasi-dictatorship already.
General, what do we make of, because right now they are saying that a majority of the National Guard members will carry M17 pistols. What are we to think about them being armed in these cities?
Well, the issue is this is part of the U.S. armed forces. They're uniformed, they carry weapons, they're trained to fight in combat against enemies of America. Of course they're going to carry weapons, if nothing else for self-defense. But again, they have almost no value in terms of conducting law enforcement in neighborhoods. They don't know the people. They don't have any training that's relevant. They're certainly not appropriate to have a uniformed member of the active armed forces, once they're federalized, conducting arrests. So it's a political stunt. It's a mess. It's harmful to our global reputation, and we ought to oppose it.
General, I'm glad you brought that part up, and that's exactly what I was really heading towards, is the fact that these National Guard will be deployed into this city, and obviously they're in D.C. right now, and like you just said, you're talking about roughly 2,000 troops not knowing the community, not knowing the people in that community, at the same time while armed. Doesn't that feel like a recipe for disaster?
Possibly. Again, the problem is we shouldn't have military personnel conducting law enforcement operations, period. They shouldn't be doing that in the border. They shouldn't be doing that in Chicago or Baltimore or any of the other cities. They do have a security problem. Chicago does. A lot of violence on the street in some parts of the city at some times of day. The solution is make sure you've manned adequately. The Chicago police and most of these police officers are grossly undermanned. Nobody wants to be a cop anymore. They're being vilified in public. So they don't have enough police officers. They got inadequate number of prosecutors. They probably had bad policies on crime reduction. But you also got to have other tools. You have to have mental health people. You have to have intervention with adolescents to give them something else to do. None of this is appropriate for the U.S. Armed Forces. So again, it's a political stunt. Very little bad will come out of it except damage to our reputation in the international community and in the United States. We need to push back against this. But the larger issue is Trump is ruling by executive order. Where is the Congress, the judicial system? Fortunately, the media has not backed off it.
You were hearing retired General Barry McCaffrey here on the Gee and Ursula Show. I want to point out that former Congressman Adam Kinzinger says that the deployment of Guard troops is blatantly unconstitutional, and I want you to hear what he had to say.
A well-regulated militia was put in the Second Amendment to guard against federal tyranny. Joseph Story was an early Supreme Court member, and he said the same thing, that this is necessary to guard against tyranny. Everybody knows this. The National Guard has been viewed as the militia of a state. The National Guard can be used by a president for things like war, but if a National Guard can be activated against the wishes of the people of the state and the governor to be used against that very state, how in the world is that a militia? It's not. He is in clear violation of the Second Amendment.
What do you make of his comment?
Well, look, there's a larger issue here. Congress passed legislation, I think it was 1973, the Emergency Powers Act. There are 125 different emergency powers which the president can elect to announce and carry out. Some of them have safeguards, meaning that they only last for 30 days and then Congress has to approve them. But they'd have to approve it by an overwhelming veto margin. So the president, if he chooses to, can declare a series of emergencies. Clearly, he can federalize the National Guard at will and does so. Every administration does it routinely, to include D.C. So we're in trouble because I think, again, the fundamental problem is Mr. Trump is acting in a lawless, unconstrained manner. But I think he does have clearly the authority to do almost everything we're seeing unfold right now.
So, General, what do you think Mr. Trump's end game is to this? Because clearly, you have made it very clear that the mindset of the National Guard, of our armed forces, is usually focused on battlefield engagement rather than community policing or de-escalation. if that's the case, and we all know this,
I don't think Mr. Trump has a clue what he's doing. I think this is government by whim, by instinct, by political enemies, and his language is so coarse and fundamentally anti-American. And even when he's going after people in his own party, calling people scum and excoriating people from the Oval Office. I don't think he knows what he's doing. He's just thrashing around. And so far, Congress has been incapable of pushing back and demanding their own authority. I've taught American government for years. Article 1 of the Constitution deals with Congress. They're not three co-equal branches of government. Congress has the power of the purse, the power to approve people in public office, the power to declare war. That's where the power of the U.S. government is centered, and they've given up on it. Judicial systems all over the map, but I think so far they've been our one safeguard against what's starting to look like quasi-dictatorship. The guy has a whim, signs an executive order, and intimidates law firms, universities, businesses, demanding ownership of businesses to the federal government. Where did all this come from? This sounds like some third world, dictatorship.
General McCaffrey, you mentioned that he's not getting much pushback from Congress. This is a Congress that is ruled right now by the Republican Party. They've got both the House and the Senate, and there is a very definite fear among the Republicans to speak out against what President Trump is doing right now. So you mentioned that it's the courts that are fighting back, and it seems to me that the states themselves are also, or the certain cities, including Seattle, and you've heard, since you live in this area, you've heard that both the governor and the mayor of Seattle have said they would fight anything, any threat of them being thrown in jail because we are a sanctuary state or a sanctuary city. Your thoughts on what should happen? What role should the federal government be playing? Because you mentioned Seattle has its problems.
Well, no question. And by the way, we've got some pretty good leadership. I'm not here to endorse political candidates, but, Mayor Harrell's first rate and the governor's first rate and the attorney general's first rate. These are sensible, educated, experienced people. So, and they've got their work out for them. But, countering crime is not just arresting people. And it normally takes years to turn social dilemmas around. But we're faced with a president who is ignorant or unobedient to the law. Basically, this country isn't ruled by executive order. And that's what he's doing. So I'd be unsurprised if we don't see a political confrontation in many of these cities, Chicago, Baltimore, Wes Moore is somebody I've known for 20 years, Rhodes Scholar, combat veteran, 82nd Airborne Division entry officer. These governors and mayors and county executives have got to push back against this. They're another piece of it. A conservative, in theory, understood a government of limited authority. If it's not specified in the Constitution as a federal right, then it belongs in state government. And Trump is ignoring all that.
You're listening to the voice of General Barry McCaffrey here on the Gee and Ursula Show. And General, you mentioned it before about right now the authoritarian ways that is happening with Mr. Trump. So my question is if the safeguards, which is usually Congress, and for some reason Congress is very scared and nervous of Trump, and they do whatever that he says, if there's no safeguards and we're just 200 days into his presidency, where possibly and potentially could this go in the next 2 to 3 years?
Look, it seems to me that if Trump is not constrained by the public will, he will continue developing into a total dictatorship. So the remedy is that voters in all the states need to select candidates of character, either party, and put them into office. You got to vote in the primaries. You got to get them in the general election. You have to elect people in the center. AOC, one of the most talented, remarkable young politicians in the country, if she ended up as the candidate for the presidency in the next election, these gangsters will be back in office again. So the country has to say, we're going to get, and Americans all over, I deal with people day in and day out all over the country. I almost never see anybody of the degree of foulness of the people in our government. I don't see people in business. If you go down and talk to our mayor, he won't act like a thug. So we need to step up as voters. I am bombarded by people saying, when's the armed forces going to push back and say this is unconstitutional? The armed forces are apolitical. They're not involved in this. You, Mr. and Miss Citizen, have got to get out there and get involved in the political landscape and get people of character into office. We got a lot of them. We Adam Smith in our state, Senator Patty Murray. These are people of character. That's what we need to see in the Congress.
General McCaffrey, the governor of our state signed this law that prevents National Guard troops from other states from coming here to Washington without the explicit permission of the governor. Is it possible that he could stop Guard troops from entering our state if that is in fact what the president decides?
No. At the end of the day, again, the president had legislative authority to announce emergency. People may say that's a false emergency. Like we need National Guard not to control riots, but to do neighborhood policing. But I think the president, acting unilaterally and unconstrained by the Congress in particular, has a whole range of powers. What are we going to be in a civil war? Have the Washington Guard shooting it out with the Texas Guard? But this is where Trump is taking us. So again, we got to get out and understand the midterm elections. I'm not speaking up for the Democratic Party, but for getting people of character in political office of either party.
General Barry McCaffrey, we appreciate your time. Thank you so much.
Good to be with both of you.
Thank you.
Ursula, we got 1 minute left. Your thoughts?
Well, first of all, I always enjoy the general joining us here on the Gee and Ursula Show and appreciate him making time. I was surprised to hear that there is nothing that we can do. If the president decides that he wants to send the National Guard troops in, then that is exactly what's going to happen.
The one thing that the general said that made me almost come out of my seat is what he said is that right now the Democrats have
no plan.
No plan. And they are attacking him on something that they're missing out on. And here's where they're missing. And this is what they need to talk about all the time. As much as, just so you know, the cultural wars, hey, Democrats, you lose every time. You lose. At this time, stay away from the culture wars and just focus on one thing, the economy. That's it. People are struggling right now. The people that could not buy groceries in January when Donald Trump told everyone at day one, they're no closer to buying groceries right now. And the reason why Trump is focusing on everything else, because he knows things are bad. Everybody knows. Everybody wants to, you want to talk about this, you want to talk about the Maryland dad, you want to talk about all of these topics. Talk about the money. Only people that are doing well are the people at the top. The stock market. Oh, it's great. Oh, it's fantastic. The stock market is great. I don't want to hear about the stock market. I want to hear about the people that voted because they were struggling financially. Guess what? They're struggling more.
The other thing that we need to focus on is midterm elections. And he was right on that, and he mentioned that numerous times.
All right, Ursula. Southwest Airlines is tightening their belt. Literally. And if you are a larger passenger, it could mean paying a hefty price. Real quick, the way Chef worded that whole thing just got me uncomfortable. You think you slick, Chef. We'll talk about that next. Gee and Ursula.
This hour is brought to you by Pella Windows and Doors of Western Washington.
You never know what's in store each morning once you hit the road.
We've got a major traffic alert in effect right now.
Well, you're getting ready every morning. Make us part of your routine.
What morning, huh?
Yeah. Got off to an early start.
Just tell your smart speaker to play KIRO News Radio or stream us on the app.
Both directions of I-5 are closed.
We'll help you get where you're going faster.
Maybe bail at 512.
KIRO News Radio. We're on your smart speaker, the app, and 97.3 FM.
Jaden Schwartz for Techline Roofing. Summer is the perfect time for a new roof. Take advantage of our easy financing, summer specials, and the best warranty in the business. Have a great summer. See you next hockey season. Trust Techline.
Hartley and Brent Wilcox talking about Wilcox Family Farms.
Dad, I've really enjoyed all the community events we've been doing. One question I get asked a lot is, how long has our family had the farm? When I tell them since 1909, they're surprised. Why do you think that is?
I imagine it's because that's a long time, and many farms have been bought by big corporations that put profits first.
Growing up on the farm, I feel like we put people and the well-being of our hens first.
We do, and as you know, free-range and mobile pasture hens have organic soil to forage and do what they naturally would do. This takes more time and money, but it's the right thing to do. It's better for the hens and makes for great tasting eggs.
I agree. Here is Mike to tell you where you can find locally fresh Wilcox Family Farms eggs.
For fresh, local, pasture-raised, omega-3, hard-boiled, and other fresh eggs, choose Wilcox Family Farms. Look for Wilcox eggs at Safeway, QFC, and PCC Natural Markets. Wilcox Family Farms.
You hear that? That's the sound of your business losing money. Legacy phone systems weren't built for today's teams. OpenPhone gives your business a smarter way to stay connected. OpenPhone lets you manage calls, texts, voicemail, and contacts all in one place so that you and your team can deliver a seamless customer experience from ring to... Need to take calls on the go? OpenPhone automatically transcribes, summarizes, and highlights next steps from every call, so you never miss a detail. Need insight into what closes a sale? With OpenPhone's AI call tags, you can instantly spot key topics like objections or pricing questions, and use those insights to coach your team and level up every customer interaction. And yes, you can bring your existing number with you for free. Keep your team in sync and your customers happy with OpenPhone. OpenPhone. No missed calls, no missed customers. Try OpenPhone for free at openphone.com/free and get 20% off your first 6 months. That's openphone.com/free. openphone.com/FREE.
By texting 64,000, you agree to receive recurring automated marketing messages from Real Success. Message and data rates may apply. No purchase required. Terms supply. Available at ourrealsuccess.com.
Do you want to learn how to make money flipping houses and acquiring rental properties right here in Seattle without using your own money? You'll learn to flip houses and secure rental properties in your spare time to get on track towards real wealth building. We're offering a handful of motivated individuals the opportunity to attend our workshop right here in Seattle for free. That's right, we'll give you 2 free tickets when you text FREE to 64,000. Seattle is the perfect market to flip houses and build rental income. Don't miss this opportunity. Come to a complimentary live 2-hour workshop next week right here in Seattle and learn how to start making money flipping homes and building long-term wealth with rental properties. To get 2 free tickets, text FREE to 64,000. Text in the next 10 minutes, and registrants will also receive a free copy of our Funding for Deals guide. Text FREE to 64,000 for 2 complimentary tickets. Text FREE to 64,000.
You're listening to Leaf Filter Radio, and the guru of gutter protection himself, Chris Coonahan, is here to take your most pressing leaf-related questions.
Hey, everybody, Chris here. I understand we have Ron on the line. Ron, where are you calling from?
Uh-oh. Ron, are you calling from a ladder?
Well, I was. I wanted to ask Chris what I need to do to get my gutters ready to have leaf filter installed.
Oh, Ron, you don't have to do anything. A Leaf Filter Trusted Pro will come out and clean out your gutters, realign and seal your gutters, and install Leaf Filter, America's #1 gutter protection system.
So I didn't need to get on this ladder?
Ron, Leaf Filter Trusted Pros are in your neighborhood and ready to help. Just visit leaffilter.com/deal to schedule your free gutter inspection and get up to 30% off.
Thank goodness. What was that site?
That's leaffilter.com/deal for your free gutter inspection today. See representative for warranty details. Promotion is 20% off plus a 10% senior or military discount. 1 discount per household.
Recovery is deeply personal and can look different for everyone. Recovery takes more than persistence and resilience. It takes support. Get help navigating your recovery journey, no matter where you are. Every step you take to navigate substance use and mental health challenges can help you reach your recovery goals. And staying connected to treatment and support makes long-term success more likely. Visit samhsa.gov/recoverme to find support and create a recovery plan that works for you.
Millions of Americans take medicine like Ozempic and Zepbound. Many of them are overpaying by thousands of dollars a year. These GLP-1 medications for diabetes, weight loss, and more may not always be covered by your insurance, but GoodRx can help. GoodRx helps you save every month on prescriptions at over 70,000 pharmacies nationwide. Best of all, it's free to use. Check GoodRx to save on GLP-1s. Just go to goodrx.com/GLP. That's goodrx.com/GLP. GoodRx is not insurance, but can be used instead of insurance, including Medicare and other federal and state-funded programs.
The insurance world, it can be confusing. So have First Mark Insurance guide you through it by taking the free First Mark Challenge. They'll explore offerings from top carriers for better coverage and lower rates. They save the Heward family thousands. Go to firstmarkinsurance.com.
KIRO News Radio 97.3 FM, Northwest News. Now, the latest from KIRO News Radio and mynorthwest.com.
Good morning, I'm Heather Bosch. Israel says it will investigate after 2 of its strikes hit a hospital in Gaza, killing at least 20 people.
The blast hit Nasser Hospital in Khan Yunis. Among the dead, 4 journalists, Mohammed Salameh of Al Jazeera, freelancers Mariam Abu Daka and Mut Abu Taha, and Hussam al-Masri, a Reuters contractor. Hamas-backed Gaza officials say an Israeli drone struck first. A second blast was captured live on Egyptian TV. Witnesses said it came after rescue workers and journalists rushed to the scene.
That's CBS's Chris Livesay. President Trump today said the U.S. no longer financially supports Ukraine directly, explaining.
We don't pay any money to Ukraine anymore. Do you know that? In fact, it's the opposite. They request through NATO. NATO requests missiles. They want Patriots. They want missiles. We give the missiles to NATO. NATO pays us in full.
Russia launched a massive invasion of Ukraine in 2022. President Trump spoke as he signed several executive orders. One requires a year of jail time for anyone who burns an American flag. Another allows federal agencies to hire extra personnel to join the D.C. federal takeover to reduce crime there. Attorneys for Kilmar Abrego Garcia are trying to keep him from being deported again. He was shipped out of the U.S. once, accidentally. Now the federal government accuses him of human trafficking, which he denies. His attorney.
Mr. Abrego Garcia has filed a new lawsuit challenging his current confinement and challenging deportation to Uganda or to any other country unless and until he's had a fair trial.
Crews in California are trying to contain the Picket wildfire, which is burning on nearly 7,000 acres in wine country. CBS's Carter Evans.
This is burning in the footprint of another fire that burned here about 5 years ago, and you would think that burned away most of the vegetation, and it did, but a lot of it has grown back. It is very dry now, so that's a lot of fuel for this fire. The good news is they've been able to reuse some of those dozer lines, those fire lines that they cut for the last fire, and that's helping to contain this one.
The Bear Gulch wildfire is now burning on more than 8,700 acres in the Olympic National Forest and Park. Public Information Officer Molly Pittman says it's a tough one to fight.
There's very, very steep slopes that are covered in dense, thick vegetation.
The fire is 13% contained. On Wall Street, the Dow is down 251 points. NASDAQ up almost 40. KIRO News Radio traffic. The Evergreen State Fair is underway. US 2 is very slow right now in and out of the fairgrounds in Monroe. And you've got what's becoming a regular slowdown along JBLM on I-5 southbound. Travel time Tacoma to Olympia, 37 minutes, a few longer than usual. Other travel times, Everett to Seattle, 26 minutes. Federal Way to Seattle, 24. Renton to Bellevue, 17. And your lake bridges are clear. Traffic brought to you by KIRO News Radio. This weather update brought to you by State Roofing and Exteriors. Sunshine with highs in the upper 80s today. It's 71 in downtown Seattle. I'm Heather Bosch.
Your best source for local news. You're listening to KIRO News Radio, Northwest News.
This is the Gee and Ursula Show. A lot of people taking flights over the summer, and there is an airline that is in the news right now. Southwest Airlines is making another big change, and this one could hit some passengers especially hard. Starting in January, anyone, they say, who encroaches on a neighboring seat will have to buy a second ticket in advance, and that extra seat may not be refundable. I didn't know until today that Southwest Airlines for years had this policy that plus-size passengers could request an extra seat at no charge. Or they could buy one up front and get their money back after the flight. And advocates say that made Southwest one of the only major airlines that would treat their larger travelers with a measure of dignity. And now groups like the National Association to Advance Fat Acceptance are calling this a devastating reversal. And Southwest, for their part, is saying that they are just bringing their policies in line with other major carriers, but critics argue that this change sends a message far beyond air travel, and essentially that message is bigger bodies don't belong on these flights. What do you think?
No. I'm going to you first. No. Everybody always waiting to hear what's crazy that G's got to say. Ursula, what do you think?
Okay, now, why are you changing the format of the show for this one particular topic?
Yeah, because because the people really want to know what you got to think about this.
They want to know what you think. Actually, I was surprised that Southwest had this policy in the first place, and I am very sympathetic. I think that the seats have just gotten smaller and smaller, and I think they're ridiculous. And I think that Southwest put themselves in a position, in a category of their own, and were lauded for things like this, which I didn't even realize. But also they had the free bag, which they changed, right? So one free check-in, which they've changed. I think the reality is Southwest Airlines is not doing as well, is not as profitable, and they're looking for ways to cut some of the corners. And if you're having to forego seats, I mean, the reality is that's one paying passenger that they don't have. I understand how people who are plus size are feeling like, wait a minute, it's already so hard for us to travel, and it's so humiliating if I can't fit into a seat or I can't put the seatbelt on, and now these seats are so tiny, and now I'm going to make someone else uncomfortable and I'm going to be bullied. Or, but on the other hand, I understand that Southwest Airlines, I mean, it's a business. It's a for-profit company, and you're losing. So I just want to make sure I get this clear. Are you okay? I understand Southwest policy changing.
So you agree with it?
Yes. Even though, like I'm saying, I'm being sympathetic. I am being sympathetic. The reality is they're losing a seat.
Yeah, they are losing a seat. And this isn't, I don't think that with my opinion that I'm going to have, that I am less empathetic to someone who is of a bigger size. At the end of the day, Southwest is losing a seat, if you will, because you have that customer, let's say it's you or me or anyone else, you have that customer that is being invaded in their space. So, hey, I'm getting ready to fly from Seattle to Chicago on Southwest. And oh, by the way, this person is all over me in that seat. This is not disrespect, but this messes up your flight. So what ends up happening is people will choose not to fly Southwest, and they'll go another airline. So with that being said, I totally understand Southwest doing it, and I agree with it. It's a business decision. It's not like you are less empathetic to those that are bigger.
And it may end up costing Southwest Airlines if enough people are like, well, that's one of the reasons because they had this policy. The thing that I guess I appreciate about what the airline is doing is that they're also saying we will still refund you if you pay for that extra seat and it turns out we had extra seats available. It's just on those full flights. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So you can still get a refund after the fact if it turns out, in fact, that you ask for the refund within, I want to say it's 90 days. It's either 30 days or 90 days. But within a reasonable amount of time, you make that request, and then get the money back, I think that is a good compromise.
I don't like this at all. I hate the fact that every airline now has this policy, because the only reason this policy exists is because we have this garbage view in our society that if you're a larger person, it is by choice, you can control it, and it is your dang fault that you're big, right? But here's the deal. Every kid under the age of 2 can fly on an airline for free with an adult if they sit in their lap. You cannot tell me that an 18-month-old child does not encroach on the other seats in that airplane. They absolutely do. And probably to a more boisterous degree than anyone who spills over the seat a little bit. So we just don't want to do that to parents because it looks really bad. And we're worried
I think it
about
looks
getting
really bad what they're doing here. But here's my question. It's not just Mark had to sit next to a rugby player from the Miami rugby team on our way back from Miami this last time. And the guy he might have been the biggest player on the rugby team. And it was the most uncomfortable flight back from Florida because there were 3 big dudes. I mean, so it's not just people who are plus size. I mean, if someone cannot fit into the seat, I need to ask though, before we even get on, they just need to make the seats bigger. Okay, you're looking at me.
No, because I get it. But I totally understand Southwest Airlines doing this. And as someone who flies often, right? You fly often, you know that this can be an inconvenience on you. And by the way, I'm sorry, but having someone who's less than 2 years old in the passenger's lap does not come close to the other way around at all. It's not even close. So this whole idea, Southwest, I get it. And oh, by the way, if I want to go travel and I want to take 1 bag or 2 bags, I'm going to get charged. If I want to take 1 or 2 carry-ons, potentially on Spirit Airlines, I can get charged. Like, you guys do know that business is business, right?
Yeah. Ryan mentions, they make bigger seats. You just can't fit as many passengers. And I understand that. And maybe offer those seats for a slightly higher price so that there is an option.
Good stuff.
Okay, text us, though, 888-973-5476, 888-973 KIRO. I know which way you thought I was going to go.
Hey, coming up next, I had a scenarios that I witnessed in person yesterday. And I want to get you guys' opinion on this and maybe see if you agree or disagree. Next, Gee and Ursula.
The John Curley Show.
Don't worry. Everybody don't panic.
Weekdays 3 to 7.
Where the president wants an executive order. By the way, it's going to get challenged because Congress is the one that makes all the rules to allow each state to determine how they want to do the voting. And Trump right now, he's certainly getting a lot of executive orders out there. Still the record holder is FDR. I think he's got more than 3,400 or something like that. So nobody took over the federal government and ran it like a king, like FDR.
Watch The John Curley Show live on YouTube.
What's up, everybody? It's G. Scott here. College students, listen up. Whether you're at a university, junior college, or tech school, Safeway's got your back with 5% off just for being a student. All you got to do is verify your student ID in the app. Boom! Instant savings and exclusive deals. And parents, I see you too. Make life easier with online shopping and delivery. If it's your first time using delivery, guess what? You get $30 off your first order. Now, here's the real game changer, Fresh Pass. Subscribe and enjoy unlimited free delivery and special offers. And if you use EBT, you get Fresh Pass for 50% off plus big savings on fresh produce. That's right. Healthy food, delivered and affordable. I know it's a lot of info. I know, but the savings, significant and worth the time. So if you have or know a college student, make sure they visit Safeway.com/for-you. That's FOR in the letter U. Again, Safeway.com/for-you.
It was a lot of tennis over a lot of years that took its toll physically on Michael.
I may have had the heart of a champion, but the ordinary body that kept breaking down.
But Michael knew exactly who to call. Dr. Mark Wagner, who recommended stem cell therapy.
He did my left knee, and then I had a torn Achilles. I would have been out for over a year. And it was like 5 weeks later, I was on a golf course again. The latest, I got my hip done because I ripped a glute connection to the hip joint. Boy, did that hurt. Once again, here I am walking golf courses, and I'm hiking around on the beaches, and if I'd had surgery, I'd still be walking around with a walker.
Quite a few of Dr. Wagner's patients have told me that, so you'd recommend him?
Oh, absolutely. I can't say enough about the man and what he does. To me, it's a miracle breakthrough in injury treatment. It works.
Whether it's a shoulder, hip, knee, even an Achilles.
He says he can do any joint in the body. I believe him.
Before choosing surgery, consider stem cell therapy with Dr. Mark Wagner, MD, at Seattle Sports and Regenerative Medicine. Schedule your consultation at drmarkwagnermd.com.
Yikey wawa.
What?
My hot water.
Yeah?
Not so hot.
Water heater trouble?
It's not working.
We can fix that.
This week?
How about today?
Apollo Plumbing really is ready right now.
Especially when it comes to water heater replacement.
Think I need a new one?
Is it more than 10 years old?
It is.
Probably so.
Doesn't heat like it used to.
It runs out?
All the time.
That's a warning sign.
Uh-oh.
So are little leaks.
But Apollo can get me a new one?
Installed today by our clean screen trained and trusted plumbers. They're water heater experts.
But I probably got to pay a rush fee.
No extra charge.
You make this too easy.
We'll even haul off the old one.
A new water heater.
Same day. That's the Apollo Plumbing way.
This is going to get my budget in hot water.
Got you covered there too.
How?
Our available payment plans.
I don't have to wait?
Or take cold showers.
You are a lifesaver.
Call us this morning. You'll have hot water today.
That's the Apollo Plumbing way.
ApolloPlumbing.com.
Guys, did you know your testosterone level impacts your energy, libido, sleep, weight, hair loss, mood, and even ED? And right now, Revive Men's Health Seattle will check your testosterone for free. They've helped thousands of men since 2011 feel and perform better. They're so confident they can help you, they even guarantee it. Schedule your free testosterone test, exam, and consultation today. Call 206-529-1111. That's 206-529-1111. Or visit ReviveMen'sHealth.com.
This is the story of the one. As a lineman, he does whatever it takes to keep the power on in his community. And he wants a partner like Grainger who does the same. Grainger offers the professional-grade products he needs, from voltage detectors to harnesses to hard hats, plus fast, dependable delivery, so he can rise to every challenge. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
This is the story of the one. As a safety manager at a manufacturing plant, he does everything he can to keep his coworkers safe. From finding ways to reduce risks to keeping safety supplies in stock. And for that, he relies on Grainger. Grainger offers a broad range of quality products and next-day delivery, so he can always play it safe. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Northwest Homeowners, when it comes to your roof, you need a name you can trust. Techline Roofing has proudly served the Seattle area for years, delivering exceptional results and lasting security. Choose Techline Roofing. Your trust is our foundation. Trust Techline.
There are 6 markets you can place your money in. Research suggests it's better to have exposure to all 6 markets. Don't miss a potential opportunity because you didn't strategically diversify your assets. Hi, Jeff here with Madrona Financial and CPAs. Request your no-cost Madrona analysis today and discover what you may be missing in your portfolio. Call 833-673-7373 right now to request your analysis. That's 833-673-7373.
Okay, everybody, it's the Gee and Ursula Show coming up in the 11 o'clock hour. You know what? This conversation about Southwest Airline and additional seats and having more restrictions for those that are larger passengers, this got y'all heated. So we're bringing this back because there's a suggestion from Eric in Columbia City that we're going to bring to the table.
Yes. Mm-hmm. So would this be the solution that you would be willing to settle on?
Oh, I cannot wait to talk about this.
I know Gee's saying this because he doesn't think so. But I'm thinking maybe they're onto something.
All right, scenarios. Let's go.
Here we go, yo. So what's the
Okay, everybody, I was at a birthday party. Shout out to my young nephew, Leo. He turned 11 years old yesterday. Happy birthday. You know, we had a birthday party for him at the park. It was beautiful. The Jacksons put on a nice little spread. We get there. The thing is, y'all, they had bees. For some reason, bees were all over the place around the food. And you know me, I'm ducking and dodging them bees. Them bees, they
so annoing.
I swear.
So annoying.
I swear.
They love the meat. There's a lot of meat.
I think they like dark meat, too. Actually, one of the kids got stung yesterday in the chin.
Oh, no.
And this little boy, the same kid that got stung in the chin yesterday also got stung by the jellyfish out in Hawaii, not once, but twice. Okay,
oh, no.
Back to the story. Here's what happened. So, one of my friends they gave their daughter some rice and some beans and stuff like that, some meat and some beans. And rice. So they go over, and then she comes back, and I see her face, and she's like, there's a bee in there. And then the mom's like, where? Like, she didn't see it. She didn't believe her because she's the one serving the food.
Yes.
And she points to it, and lo and behold, there's a bee.
Oh, no.
So the mom goes over to the side. I'm watching the whole thing. Mom goes over to the side, goes over to the garbage can, takes the bee out, throws it in the garbage, walks back over to her daughter, stirring it up at the same time, and hands it to her daughter. And her daughter looks like, I don't want that. I said, you about to give her that? She's like, what? I just threw the bee out. She didn't even go get a new plate. And then finally, the little girl's like, I don't want that. So she does go and get the new plate. But another mom checks in and says, I would have done the same thing. So my question is, if a bee is in your child's food, do you go over to the garbage can, take the bee out, and bring the food back to your child? Or do you go and get a new plate?
Why, yes. I also agree with Mom. I would have done the same thing as well.
Hell no.
But I'm also the one that if I see a little bit of mold, I'll check it out. And I might just cut out the bit of, if everything else looks good, I may not throw away the whole thing.
Ursula, you being for real, or you just, you know that this is a potential.
You're talking about with cheese, not with meat and stuff, right?
Yeah.
Let's talk about a bee.
A bee?
Yeah.
A bee, dead bee inside of the food.
The only reason I would throw the whole thing out, if I did throw it out, if I knew that would be the reaction of my child who would not eat it anyway. And then you end up throwing it out.
But would you turn your back and do it? Take the bee out?
Exactly. Mm-hmm. Yes. Or you can just even pretend it's a new plate.
Why can't you get your child some more food?
What did the bee do to that food that you were so opposed to serving the food? What happened?
I'm calling Ursula. I am disgusted. If you were at a restaurant and there was a bee in your food and the restaurant said, "Oh, sorry, here you go,"
but you just got done saying. This is different. You just got done saying there were bees everywhere. There were bees all over the place. Unfortunately, Mr. Bee that landed on the food and died didn't get out quick enough.
Man, gee, I remember in the summer, my grandpa would always barbecue salmon up at Birch Bay. And every time, the hornets and yellow jackets would land on the salmon, and you could see him chewing it up. And what do? You just chew them away, and then you eat it.
Yes.
I mean, like, flies land on poo. Bees pretty much land on flowers and stuff. It's not that big of a deal.
So if there was a fly in there, you're saying maybe you
I
throw
still
it out.
wouldn't even care.
Okay, Ebony in Tacoma says, gee, don't waste food over a little bee. It's not like a fly relieving itself on it. People are against flies. Bees?
I can't.
Special dispensation.
I just want you guys to know. I thought I was going to come to this scenario, and all you guys were going to be with me. The fact that I am the minority, well, pun intended, the fact that I'm the minority on this topic is crazy. Nick, bail us out.
You know what? She did nothing wrong. The girl was overreacted. We're not talking about spilled drink, a fly, or sneezing, anything like that. It's a honeybee, for crying out loud. Just get it off the plate and let it be. Nothing's going to happen. I don't think the mom is going to do anything that wouldn't hurt her. I bet you if G caught the bee, though, he'd be flying over and flipping the table over, overreacting. Get this bee away from me. This is not a big deal at all.
Wow. All right. Well, I stand corrected.
Larry, the health inspector, weighed in. Let's listen to Larry, the health inspector. You are correct, Ursula. There's never been any food illness linked to a bee being in the food. Or, what do I mean? Throw all the beer away and eat the food? Wait, what? Throw all the beer away? The same thing with the hair in the food. There's never been any...
You mean it's foodborne illness?
Oh, foodborne, linked to hair found in the food. Oh, there you go. Hair, bee, c'est la vie.
Wow. All right, get up out of here. I guess I stand corrected. I gotta text the mom right now and tell her that everybody was on her side. All right, good stuff. Hey, we got the 11 o'clock hour coming up. 11:30, we'll do Agree to Disagree. No doubt about that. And then up next, find out about SPD and the potential settlement of a lawsuit. We'll talk about that next. Gee Ursula.
Hartley and Brent Wilcox on mobile pasture eggs from Wilcox Family Farms.
Hartley, you worked with our mobile pasture barns. Tell us what mobile pasture means.
Well, mobile pasture is using a big tractor to pull the barns to new pasture each week. So the hens have fresh, green, nutritious grass to eat every day.
Why is that important?
Well, hens can get about 35% of their diet from the grass and bugs in the pasture. So before they pick one area clean, we just hook the tractor up and move it to fresh green grass.
And the fresh grass makes for the most amazing colored yolks.
At Wilcox Farms, we have over 500 acres of organic pasture land that ensures we never run out of fresh Northwest grass for our hens.
Always check the carton to make sure it's local.
When you see Wilcox, you know it's local, you know it's fresh.
Wilcox is the only local mobile pasture in the Northwest.
You really have to see videos of how it works.
And you can at wilcoxfarms.com.
Remember, the grass is always greener at Wilcox Farms.
At Fisher Investments, we may seem like other money managers, but we're different.
What makes you so different than the rest of us?
We ensure clients receive unparalleled service at every step of the relationship.
Tell me more.
Our investment counselors focus on service over sales, prioritizing clients' needs.
How do you make money?
We don't sell any commission-based products. We have a simple management fee based on the value of our client's portfolio. So we do better when our clients do better.
What about client portfolios?
We get to know each client, their finances, family, health, lifestyle, and more, and then we tailor a portfolio based on their specific goals and needs.
Your clients really come first then, huh?
Yes, we make them a top priority. Our goal is helping them achieve a comfortable retirement.
Wow, maybe we are different.
At Fisher Investments, we're clearly different. Learn more at FisherInvestments.com.
Investing in securities involves the risk of loss.
You're listening to Leaf Filter Radio, and the guru of gutter protection himself, Chris Coonahan, is here to take your most pressing leaf-related questions.
Hey, everybody, Chris here. I understand we have Ron on the line. Ron, where are you calling from?
Uh-oh. Ron, are you calling from a ladder?
Well, I was. I wanted to ask Chris what I need to do to get my gutters ready to have leaf filter installed.
Oh, Ron, you don't have to do anything. A Leaf Filter Trusted Pro will come out and clean out your gutters, realign and seal your gutters, and install Leaf Filter, America's #1 gutter protection system.
So I didn't need to get on this ladder?
Ron, Leaf Filter Trusted Pros are in your neighborhood and ready to help. Just visit leaffilter.com/radio to schedule your free gutter inspection and get up to 30% off.
Thank goodness. What was that site?
That's leaffilter.com/radio for your free gutter inspection today. See representative for warranty details. Promotion is 20% off plus a 10% senior or military discount. One discount per household. You're listening to Leaf Filter Radio, and the guru of gutter protection himself, Chris Coonahan, is here to take your most pressing leaf-related questions.
Hey, everybody, Chris here. I understand we have Ron on the line. Ron, where are you calling from?
Uh-oh. Ron, are you calling from a ladder?
Well, I was. I wanted to ask Chris what I need to do to get my gutters ready to have leaf filter installed.
Oh, Ron, you don't have to do anything. A Leaf Filter Trusted Pro will come out and clean out your gutters, realign and seal your gutters, and install Leaf Filter, America's #1 gutter protection system.
So I didn't need to get on this ladder?
Ron, Leaf Filter Trusted Pros are in your neighborhood and ready to help. Just visit leaffilter.com/deal to schedule your free gutter inspection and get up to 30% off.
Thank goodness. What was that site?
That's leaffilter.com/deal for your free gutter inspection today. See representative for warranty details. Promotion is 20% off plus a 10% senior or military discount. One discount per household.
KIRO FM and HD1 Tacoma, Seattle.
This is CBS News on the Hour, sponsored by O'Reilly Auto Parts.
I'm Cammie McCormick. President Trump is hosting South Korea's president at the White House. He took questions, among them the status of the Ukraine negotiations. Trump insisted again a deal must be reached, and he's prepared to act, if not without being specific.
Yeah, there could be very big consequences, but we'll see what happens. There might be very big consequences because this is something that has to end.
Earlier, he touted the federal efforts to fight crime in the nation's capital and said troops could be deployed to Chicago if needed.
They need help badly. Chicago desperately needs help.
Trump has also threatened to expand the U.S. military presence in Baltimore. Kilmar Abrega Garcia is in ICE custody in Baltimore, where he's facing a second attempt by the Trump administration to deport him. There is a blanket court order in place that pauses any immediate effort to do so. Vicki Barker reports.
At a prayer vigil outside the ICE facility earlier,
When immigrant rights are under attack, what do we do?
Kilmar Abrego Garcia's defense team has filed a new legal action challenging his detention and demanding a full court hearing. They fear their client, whom the Trump administration insists is a dangerous criminal, could be sent to Uganda within days. Vicki Barker, CBS News.
Crews in California are fighting to contain a wildfire burning through wine country. CBS's Carter Evans is in Napa.
The good news is the weather is starting to cool down just a little bit. The heat has been a big challenge, and that's what caused this fire to grow so much over the weekend. But today it's cooling down a little bit.
Thousands in Central Oregon have been under evacuation orders because of a wildfire that's already destroyed some homes. The U.S. Coast Guard offloaded more than 38 tons of cocaine and marijuana this morning at Port Everglades.
We are witness to the largest drug offload in Coast Guard history. A total of 76,140 pounds of illegal narcotics.
They were seized during interdictions in the Eastern Pacific and Caribbean Sea. The president's top economic advisor says the government could take stakes in other companies after doing so with chipmaker Intel. CBS's Kelly O'Grady has reaction to that.
If it works, if it is a win, if we can get semiconductor chips made in the U.S., that is going to be a very good thing that you're going to see bipartisan support for. The more broad question of whether it goes to other industries, I spoke to a few Republican sources that have questioned that they don't necessarily love where that is going.
Checking the numbers on Wall Street at this hour, the Dow Jones Industrials off 278 points. The NASDAQ is higher by 36. This is CBS News.
Think O'Reilly Auto Parts for all your car care needs. Get the parts and service you need fast from the professional parts people at O'Reilly Auto Parts.
The new search in the Cascade Mountains for accused killer Travis Decker. But first, KIRO Newsradio traffic. On I-90 west of Easton, traffic is crawling in both directions from about Pine Glen to Nelson. That's due to an earlier crash. The Evergreen State Fair is underway. US 2 very slow in and out of the fairgrounds in Monroe. And remember, the White River Bridge between Enumclaw and Buckley remains closed following a crash that damaged the bridge 1 week ago. Traffic brought to you by Seattle Sports. Search Seattle Sports on YouTube and click subscribe to get fresh video content daily.
KIRO News Radio 97.3 FM Northwest News. Now, the latest from KIRO News Radio and mynorthwest.com.
Good morning, I'm Heather Bosch.
Last of Decker, first of Travis, middle of St. Charles.
Newly released body cam video shows a Wenatchee cop talking with Travis Decker after a traffic crash just days before Decker allegedly murdered his 3 young daughters. He indicated to the officer he didn't have a permanent home.
Where you at now?
I'm kind of in transit. He gave the cop his estranged wife's address. Police found his daughter's bodies at a campground near Leavenworth June 2nd. Decker disappeared. The FBI is searching the area again this week. Agents aren't saying just why, but Chelan County Sheriff Mike Morrison indicated earlier.
You will see soon. We have not given up. We're coming up with different approaches. And again, that's thanks to a lot of our partners that we have on staff. And we look forward to kind of talking about the next evolution of some of our search operations.
It's unclear whether Decker is dead or alive. The Coast Guard says the captain of a 1,000-foot container ship has been arrested after steering through Elliott Bay while drunk. Agents boarded the MSC Jubilee 9 last week after a crew member raised concerns. They say the captain blew more than 6 times the legal limit for mariners. Nails dumped on a busy highway in Pierce County landed a suspect in jail yesterday. More from KIRO 7 TV's Jason Sloss.
Troopers say a pedestrian threw the nails onto westbound SR-16 in Tacoma. Troopers and WashDOT crews had to close lanes while they gathered up the nails and swept the highway clean. That pedestrian was arrested and booked for malicious mischief.
Another weekend of freeway closures for maintenance. This time it was on I-405 from Renton to Kirkland. KIRO 7 TV's Deborah Horn reports it tested drivers' patience as they braved the heat, too.
You can hear the frustration coming from the vehicles, from their drivers, too. So how is the closure on 405 affecting you?
To go to work, I have to take another route, so it's really hard.
WashDOT's Craig Smiley says the work is progressing well.
The Mariners' win against the Athletics yesterday was not just any victory. It featured this.
Goodbye baseball upper deck, Cal Raleigh.
He wasn't done yet.
Cal Raleigh with his historic 49th home run of the year.
Cal Raleigh now has the most home runs in a single season by a catcher in MLB history. The M's face the Padres in Seattle tonight. This weather update brought to you by State Roofing and Exteriors. Sunshine with highs in the upper 80s today. It's 76 in downtown Seattle. I'm Heather Bosch.
Your best source for local news, serving Western Washington and the world with a KIRO Newsradio app. Always streaming live on your smart speakers. You're listening to KIRO Newsradio, Northwest News.
This is the Gee and Ursula Show with G. Scott and Ursula Reutin.
Hey, good morning, everybody. It is the Gee and Ursula Show. It is Monday, August 25th. Real quick, the summer, while it is almost over, if you had to say one thing about this summer, what would it be? Text in 888-973-5476. I'll go ahead and answer it. Ursula, it's the fastest summer that I've ever been a part of in my entire life. There's that. This was a fast summer. Like, I felt like almost 12 weeks of just, it's almost over? Labor Day is coming?
You know, it did go by really fast, but the two things that I think of about this summer, one is that the weather has been incredible.
Oh, yeah.
And at least so far, we have not had to deal with too much wildfire smoke. Have you noticed that?
Oh, that's good. That's good.
I think the weather-wise, this has been your quintessential Seattle area summer, and it's why we put up with a lot of the other things that we put up with. Okay, I'll speak for myself. And then the other thing is 60 and fabulous. This was the summer of 60 for me. And that was kind of a big darn deal.
I just want to say, Ursula, you've been kicking it all summer. You doing anything for Labor Day? All right, what's next, Ursula?
Yeah, as a matter of fact. Hey, text us 888-973-5476.
Yeah.
888-973 KIRO. And I'm slowing down because...
Top stories at 11.
On the Gee and Ursula Show.
We have another packed hour for you. Let's start off with this story. A South Lake Union hotel that once served as a homeless shelter during the pandemic is now suing Seattle and King County. This is a story from the Seattle Times. The hotel's owner claims that Seattle and the county broke their contracts and left behind drug contamination. And in the lawsuit, it even pointed out this tragic 2024 case where a baby was found dead inside the hotel with fentanyl and meth in the baby's system. The infant's mother, who lived at that hotel, has since been charged with murder, and the owner of the hotel argues that the city failed to properly manage that building and prevent drug use inside. Neha Naria tells KOMO 4 News she was trying to help the community during the crisis, and now she is being forced to pay for it.
They were supposed to biohazard test and clean the property. They did not. No one wants to actually open it up. In some rooms, it is in very high levels, to the degree that we will have to gut the property and take it back down to the studs.
Now, Seattle admits it didn't hire a biocleaning company as the contract required. also admits King County failed to clean and repair damage before the city took over. But now both governments are pointing fingers at each other. The city attorney's office now says Seattle was never required to carefully supervise tenants. Okay, you're rolling your eyes, and I am feeling the same way because this is not going to help in the narrative in terms of what should you do and what should be provided to get unhoused people off the streets. And I listened to the details of this lawsuit, and I don't blame them for filing a lawsuit.
Yeah, I don't blame them either. To not have the safeguards in place to make sure that these hotels that are being used for that don't get run down. Now, with that being said, what can they do? And with the reason why I'm posing the question, what can they do? Because, it's interesting. Constantly, it comes up about how law enforcement is understaffed. And let me raise my hand. I agree. Law enforcement is understaffed. But we have seen, and we have continuing to see, crime has gone down. Now, granted, the police unions, Tacoma and Seattle, they don't want that to be true because they still want the narrative to be that crime is going up so they can get more police officers. While we always talk about police officers and short on staffing, how about we talk about social workers? Mm-hmm. How about we talk about the need for that? How about we talk about how grossly underpaid social work? How come when we are talking about these problems, we don't talk about how grossly understaffed and supported our social workers are to prevent some of these things happening? Because here's the truth. And here's the truth that probably you're thinking it, but you don't want to say the quiet part out loud. We are not prepared to handle the homelessness crisis. That is
no matter how much money that we're pouring into it.
Because no matter how much money is thrown at it, we are not
prepared to handle, or don't want it to actually be resolved. Is there a will to actually get to the roots of this problem?
Nobody wants to do that. No. Because as soon as and by the way, I'm not going to mess up the show today. I'm not going to do it. As soon as I started talking about, or you, or anybody starts talking about prevention into the homelessness crisis, nobody wants to talk about that. They just want to talk about, and here's the truth. Most people, you just don't want to see it. And let's be real, Ursula. There has always been a time in our city where there were neighborhoods that were run down, that were not supported, that were not given resources. And the truth is what you did to not see that then, you moved and you lived somewhere else. You see, if you can pay and afford to live places like Medina and Bellevue and Kirkland, guess what you won't see? You won't see the homelessness crisis because you have enough money to pay not to see it. The more money you have, the more you don't see it.
The thing, and I hear you there. The thing that comes to mind with this particular thing and these hotels, and quite frankly, we haven't tracked or really looked into what happened with all those hotels that were bought. Are they being used for the purposes that they were promised in terms of, hey, these are going to be used to provide at least the temporary shelter needed to get the unhoused off the streets? And in the case of a hotel like this, why are they allowed to use drugs in the building? And it brings up the question, the whole idea of low barrier shelters. Is it better to just get them off the street, which way, but then not have rules? My personal feeling is I think you do everything you can to get them on the right path, and that would include having them follow rules so that you don't have a situation like this.
I want to answer your question about them doing drugs in their rooms. At the W, the Westin in Bellevue, all of these high-end hotels, do they?
Yes.
Do they?
I understand.
You know where I'm going with this?
Yes, I do.
Do they do drugs in there?
Sure. But they're also not on taxpayer dime. I'm just going to say it as brutally honest as I can be.
Okay.
My point being, you are using public resources to help people get off of the drugs, and I don't think you should be enabling them to use the drugs while you're trying to get them off the drugs.
But how if you tell someone in these places,
I understand it's hard.
You're not allowed to do that.
Yes, and some people will say that I'm not here.
Like there's no smoking in this hotel.
Yes.
Do not smoke. Meanwhile, you got people like some of my cousins that go in the bathroom and smoke with the fans. You can't.
So if they, I know you can't perfectly prevent it, but if you have the rules going in saying you will not be allowed to live here if you are going to partake in these drugs, and we're going to do everything we can to support you staying off the drugs. That's the question that I have, and I don't know enough. I'm just saying that I don't blame this woman for saying, I need to be compensated for this.
The whole idea of Housing First is that it's incredibly difficult to get someone off of drugs while they're in the misery of living on the street.
I understand
so that's
that.
the idea of it.
Right.
The one thing I have to say is about this lawsuit, she says she was stepping forward to help the community during crisis, like during the pandemic. I don't think that's accurate because no one was booking hotel rooms. Like no hotel was being used during that time. And I just want to point out that a lot of hotels, 5 at least, that were going to be used for homeless shelters, they had to be clean of prior drug contamination before they could be used.
Right.
So what was present before the homeless people moved in?
And that's a great question as well. Okay, we had a lot of discussion about the seating situation with Southwest Airlines and their new policy for larger passengers having now to pay for that extra seat if they ask for that extra seat.
Mm-hmm.
We had Eric in Columbia City weigh in, pun intended, and he said airlines need to make the seats human-sized and charge more for them. He said, done. And I responded initially and I said, yeah, at this day and age, I would be willing to pay a little bit more for a larger seat. Not a little bit more, not first-class prices. Okay? And to which you said, really?
Right. Really? And I hear what you and Eric are agreeing to. But just remember, that is how most businesses are handling things today.
Yeah.
By raising their prices. Every time you all look, let's not even just talk about airlines, Ursula. Name something that you have gone to go purchase in the last week that you said to yourself, self, damn, that's expensive.
My teriyaki dinner.
Oh, talk to me.
I always bring up teriyaki dinner because I love teriyaki.
Because you remember when it was $5.
But I do remember it was $5.
How much was it?
And then even it was $14. $14, not even including my drink. And if I wanted extra chicken, it was like close to $20.
Yeah.
And it's not a fancy sit down. That's just normal.
It's expensive. So
yes, it is expensive.
So to you and Eric in Columbia City, I just want to make sure I got this right. Your idea to fixing this problem that you all see with Southwest is to make the seats bigger, which if they do make them bigger, it'll be less seats. And you guys are saying charge more.
Yeah, but the problem is Southwest Airline is a discount airline. And they already had to give up the whole bag thing. Am I right? Southwest Airlines was considered one of the discount airlines, right? Kind of like above.
So
Frontier.
you calling them the Ross Dress for Less of airlines?
More TJ Maxx.
Okay.
Should be dogging on TJ Maxx.
No, TJ Maxx is a little bit higher.
First of all,
Dress for Less.
My wife and her friends frequent TJ Maxx quite often. Lillian is the queen of TJ.
Oh, yes. TJ has great perfume deals. Okay, but anyway, back to this. So Jeff and Everett texted in and said, I'm 5'11", 250 pounds. I'm a big guy, but not a huge guy, and I pour over the seat. I'll always buy an aisle seat so that way I can have my feet out when convenient. I can lean out when convenient. Never do I take a middle seat or a window seat for that very reason. He says, it's my responsibility to compensate for my size, even if I'm not technically that large of a dude. And then someone else said, Kelly H. said, I would sit next to a bigger person any day rather than a toddler, which we brought up in our earlier discussion. But anyway, I think it is scary, irresponsible to not have a little kid in a car seat on a plane. A lot of you weighed in saying, yeah, there's a solution for this, business class. I realize that, and I recognize that not everyone can afford that.
Yeah.
And in fact, I told you I'm going to just be honest. I'm going to Vegas this coming weekend, and I had to spend an arm and a leg because it's a very popular time to travel. And I was belly aching about how much I had to spend back there in Coach.
I'm just saying, like, everything that we talk about and everything, like, prices, it feels like when you went into 2025, there was this expectations that prices would be lower because people told you, people ran on that premise that things would go low. It seems like it's a joke. Like, haha, joke's on you. Everything you pay. Hey, back to school, folks. Tell me about school supplies.
Oh, school supplies are more expensive.
Tell me about them school supplies, my boy.
I don't look at those receipts. I don't. Gabby does the shopping, and she takes care of the bank account, and I just hope the math works out in the end. But I can tell you, she did do some TJ Maxx shopping for back-to-school clothes.
Oh, that is funny. Okay, I'm going to bring up one last thing as long as we're talking about traveling. Because there's some good news for dog lovers who ride the ferries. You no longer have to choose between the car deck or being outside in the cold when you bring your pup along. The State Transportation Department has launched this trial policy allowing leashed dogs inside the passenger areas of all ferries. This trial thing began on August 20th. It'll run through February of 2026. And the new rules are really straightforward. Big dogs on the floor, small dogs in a lap or carrier, and no dogs in food galleys. Service animals, of course, are welcome everywhere. What do you think? Dogs now anywhere, essentially, other than food galleys on the ferries.
I think it's fantastic. Oh, seriously? Like, to get on the ferry? I mean, to be able to, wherever you got to go, whether you're going to work or, you know, there are a lot of people that, and I'm not one of them, but there are a lot of people that really feel comfortable being out in public with their animal, with their dog. Not necessarily saying it has to be a service animal, but it really does bring comfort. Some people get anxiety being around a lot of people.
Do you think people take it too far, though? I mean, I get it with a ferry. If the ferry ride is one of your regular things and your dog travels with you, okay, I get that part. Yeah. But seeing them in the grocery stores, seeing them in all businesses, seeing them in restaurants that allow for them, do you think it's gone too far?
I think that my understanding for animals has gotten better.
I think so too.
You're right.
Because I remember at the beginning of the show when we started more than almost 6 years ago, you used to be like, I don't want to see a dog in the grocery store. Has that changed?
Yeah, it has. And I think it has changed because of, again, there are people, and by the way, I just talked to a former soldier, armed forces, and he actually has a service dog that he takes to work with him and out and about, and it has been really good for his PTSD.
Oh, I understand that.
And so while I don't even necessarily think that you had to have been a soldier and served in the armed forces, I think there are some of us that really do get comfort from our dogs or cats or whatever. Now, I am not going back on this. If you kissing your dog in the mouth, I still think that's weird.
How about sleeping in the bed with a dog? Scooter has not been the same since I kicked him out of our bed, and that was after we moved.
Here's the thing. Sleeping in the bed with you is fine because I would be a hypocrite because Vito and Frankie, even though Vito first, like Vito comes to bed every single night. So I think your animals, things is changing with me, Ursula. I think your animal sleeping with you is fine, but don't be kissing them in the mouth.
Rob in Puyallup wants to know, do you not take Scooter with you anywhere? Would you leave him in the car alone on a ferry? Scooter is not that great of a traveler, and so we don't take him on a lot of trips.
We just left the dog on the Vancouver ferry up to Victoria. It took like 3 hours. Dog's fine.
Yeah, I wouldn't leave him in the car, though, by himself.
That's because he'll chew it up.
Oh, this is true, too.
All right.
This is true, too.
Okay, Ursula, we got a lot of stuff going on in 11 o'clock hour because at 11:47, we get to get your words to live by and all the text messages. And then coming up next, in Agree to Disagree, When you ask people to come and help you move, what is the ideal meal for that day? Oh, we talk about that next. Gee Ursula.
This hour is brought to you by DUI Heroes.
Ah, summer in the Puget Sound region. Hanging at the beach. A nice coffee on a long walk with the pooch. And so much time sitting in traffic every weekend, literally going nowhere.
We've all felt it. Big construction projects are underway across the region, and I can help you get around the big delays.
Choke Points with Chris Sullivan, presented by Carter Subaru. Get all of Sully's choke points at mynorthwest.com and the KIRO Newsradio app.
1-877 Cars for Kids. KARS Cars for Kids. 1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today. 1-877 Cars for Kids. KARS Cars for Kids. 1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Ready to get rid of that old car? Donate it to Cars for Kids. Call 1-877-CARS-FOR-KIDS to reach a friendly live agent. Donation is super easy, and your car can be picked up as soon as tomorrow. Call us now, 877-CARS-FOR-KIDS. That's Cars with a K to donate your car today.
1-877 Cars for Kids. KARS Cars for Kids. 1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your.
Did you know you can donate real estate too? Go to carsforkids.org. That's carsforkids.org.
Looking to hire? ZipRecruiter finds the best candidate for your job fast. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter.com/free.
When you're hiring, have you ever felt like you're missing out on meeting truly great candidates for your roles? It seems impossible to find them, but they have to be out there somewhere, right? Well, they're not hard to find when you know where to go, and that place is ZipRecruiter. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter helps 10 million people with their job search every day. And because these people are actively looking for jobs just like yours, it's easy to find the right person right away. In fact, 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. But if you're not using ZipRecruiter, you're missing out. So see what it's like when the impossible is easy. When you go to ZipRecruiter.com/radio right now to try ZipRecruiter for free. Once again, that's ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter.com/radio. Never miss out on great candidates with ZipRecruiter.
You hear that? That's the sound of your business losing money. Legacy phone systems weren't built for today's teams. OpenPhone gives your business a smarter way to stay connected. OpenPhone lets you manage calls, texts, voicemail, and contacts all in one place so that you and your team can deliver a seamless customer experience from ring to... Need to take calls on the go? OpenPhone automatically transcribes, summarizes, and highlights next steps from every call, so you never miss a detail. Need insight into what closes a sale? With OpenPhone's AI call tags, you can instantly spot key topics like objections or pricing questions, and use those insights to coach your team and level up every customer interaction. And yes, you can bring your existing number with you for free. Keep your team in sync and your customers happy with OpenPhone. OpenPhone. No missed calls, no missed customers. Try OpenPhone for free at openphone.com/free and get 20% off your first 6 months. That's openphone.com/free. openphone.com/FREE.
If you've been considering surgery or even joint replacement, let me suggest something. Hi, it's Dave Ross. I've now talked to over 200 patients of Dr. Mark Wagner, MD, so many of whom have told me about the life-changing results, and those are their words, after treatment at Seattle Sports and Regenerative Medicine. These are people with severe osteoarthritis, even bone on bone, and they tell me that they're back hiking, jogging, playing tennis, skiing, golfing, walking up and down stairs, playing with the kids, the grandkids, and doing it without pain and without surgery. Dr. Mark Wagner's 60-minute outpatient procedure uses your own stem cells, and because they're your own stem cells, they can help regenerate your own cartilage in your own joints. Dr. Mark Wagner, MD, is a board-certified Seattle physician with over 30 years of experience, and he's performed over 20,000 stem cell procedures. Also, he's one of the few doing it the right way. So listen to his patients, and remember, whether it's a shoulder, hip, elbow, ankle, wrist, or knee, before you choose surgery, first see Dr. Mark Wagner, MD. Get the facts, then get back in the game at drmarkwagnermd.com.
Some things can steal your sunshine. Ugh, I just got my hair done.
Sorry, the cooler's broken. Anyone see my flip-flops? Anyone?
But COVID-19 can steal a lot more.
I just took a COVID test. Ugh.
Prescription medications for COVID exist. If you test positive this summer, ask your doctor if they're right for you. Visit PfizerForAll.com/COVID-19 to learn more. Sponsored by Pfizer.
Ready to elevate your everyday? Quince has the luxe staples insiders swear by, minus the markup. From 100% European linen styles and 14-karat gold jewelry to gorgeous leather bags and elevated home finds, Quince has it all. And by partnering directly with top artisans and ethical factories, Quince delivers premium quality at half the cost of similar brands. Discover everyday luxury without the markup at Quince. Go to quince.com/style upgrade for free shipping and 365-day returns. Quince.com/style upgrade.
Jaden Schwartz for Techline Roofing. Summer is the perfect time for a new roof. Take advantage of our easy financing, summer specials, and the best warranty in the business. Have a great summer. See you next hockey season. Trust Techline.
KIRO News Radio 97.3 FM, Northwest News. Now, the latest from KIRO News Radio and mynorthwest.com.
Good morning, I'm Heather Bosch. President Trump today signed several executive orders, including...
You burn a flag, you get 1 year in jail. You don't get 10 years, you don't get 1 month. You get 1 year in jail. And it goes on your record.
The U.S. Supreme Court has affirmed that flag burning is protected speech under the First Amendment. The president also signed an order allowing federal agencies to hire extra personnel to join the D.C. federal takeover that the president insists has stemmed crime. On Newsmax, Donald Trump Jr. suggesting Northwest cities should be next.
Maybe we should roll out the tour to Portland, Seattle, the other, what we'd call, crap hole cities of the country, not because they're crap holes, but because Democrats made them so.
Kilmar Abrego Garcia was accidentally deported once. Now, CBS's Camilo Montoya Galvez reports his attorneys are trying to keep him from being deliberately deported for refusing to plead guilty to human trafficking, which he denies.
His lawyers have now filed a new legal challenge trying to demand a full trial before any deportation to Uganda or another country.
Ukrainians say they are hoping for peace talks with Russia.
Because war is very scary and it's very painful. It's just horrible.
But that man through an interpreter says they do not want to give up territory seized by Russia, which launched a massive invasion in 2022 to southern Gaza. An Israeli airstrike hits Nasser Hospital, killing 20 people. CBS's Chris Livesay reports.
A second blast was captured live on Egyptian TV. Witnesses said it came after rescue workers and journalists rushed to the scene.
In the U.S., thousands of homes are under evacuation orders because of wildfires in Northern California's wine country and in Central Oregon. The Bear Gulch wildfire is now burning on more than 8,700 acres in the Olympic National Forest and Park. Public Information Officer Molly Pittman says it's steep, rugged terrain, but firefighters are meeting the challenge.
We have flown 2 wildland fire crews into the wilderness, into Olympic National Park to get ahead of the fire. They're going to work on wrapping some backcountry infrastructure, some bridges, to try to preserve those should the fire head that way.
The fire is 13% contained now. On Wall Street, the Dow is down 283 points, NASDAQ up 30. Nate Connors is at the KIRO News Radio Traffic Desk.
Hey, thanks, Heather. I tell you what, we're clear most everywhere at the moment. Only one blocking collision. That's here in Seattle. It's North 5 at Seneca. It's in your left lane, and you're in a thick backup starting way back at the West Seattle Bridge already. In Shoreline, the Northeast 145th Street on-ramp to southbound I-5 is closed through September 17th for road work. Out of Monroe, eastbound 2, drivers are sitting in about a 2-mile thick backup heading into downtown where the fair is underway. In South Tacoma, North 5 at 56, a crash partially blocks the on-ramp. And as you head through JBLM, we're not looking too bad. South 5, there is a brief 2-mile backup at the main gate. Tacoma to Olympia, plan on 45 minutes. KIRO News Radio, real-time traffic. I'm Nate Connors.
This weather update brought to you by State Roofing and Exteriors. Sunshine with highs in the upper 80s. It's 76 in downtown Seattle. I'm Heather Bosch.
Your best source for local news. You're listening to KIRO News Radio, Northwest News.
This is the Gee and Ursula Show. It is a gorgeous Monday morning here in the Puget Sound region, and it is time for us to agree to disagree, brought to you by Guardian Roofing and Gutters.
One of these days, we just got to take off the gloves, just really go at it.
Apparently, the new We Did It meal for first-time homeowners is not champagne or steak, it's pizza. The New York Times reports that more and more buyers are celebrating their move-in day by sitting cross-legged on the floor of their empty house, snapping photos of the cardboard box of pizza next to the keys and posting it online. Now, this is news to me that more and more people are doing this because I was always under the impression this is what happened. The standard payment for my younger years was always if you help a buddy move, it's a 6-pack and some pizza, and you're good to go. Is that valid payment for helping someone move?
In your 20s, yes. The first time that you moved, yes. Now, if you're on your third divorce, you need to go ahead and pay movers. You know what I'm saying? Our good friend Lisa in Sammamish texts in and says, back in my single days, I always made a huge crock pot of chili with cornbread and had cold, cheap beer and soda to bribe people to help me move and clean the old place. Here's the thing about that, Lisa. They fall asleep. Cornbread?
That sounds delicious.
It sounds great, but they fall asleep. It's pizza,
homemade.
Ursula. It's pizza and beer.
Yeah, pizza and beer, and that's all good. But do you think, like in this day and age, if you wanted to move, would that be enough? Like you said, I think you nailed it. It's in your 20s that works.
Watch this.
Now? People be like, I'm busy.
Watch this. You ready?
Yeah.
Hey, Nick, I need help moving this weekend. Can I pay you in pizza and soda?
I think that would be okay. Yeah. That's
For you asking.
If it was anybody that I didn't know as well, I would be like, I need a little extra something.
Yeah, right?
Wait.
Yes.
So, are you saying, Nick, that you would accept pizza and soda from me?
Yeah, because I know you're a good guy, and we work together every day. You're a friend of mine.
Man.
Yeah.
Wow. My man, you're bringing me to my point, Nick.
I know good karma comes back, you know what I'm saying?
Wow.
See, I've been guilty of this attitude, pizza and beer is not enough. If I have a truck, no, you can't use it to help you move.
Wait.
But looking back, I remember the times when my family moved, and there were always friends, people from church, and, this is in their 30s and 40s that would help them move. Ursula, do you think we're too selfish as a society now about helping friends out when they need something like to be moved?
I think you hit something. I think you hit on something. I don't know if it's even selfish, but everyone is overworked or overscheduled right now. That I think a lot of what used to be, hey, this would be fun, this would be kind of great camaraderie. It's like, I would rather help. I think the mentality is I would rather help pay for your move versus me giving up, a Saturday or a Sunday.
Yeah.
And again, I remember many moves, getting help myself and also helping others with the move. But again, that was when I was a lot younger. Today, well, first of all, physically, the last time we helped move, I had to help my parents move, but one of the times we moved, Mark snapped one of his tendons. There's drawbacks in terms of what you used to be able to do in your 20s.
Yeah. I guess I'm trying to ask is if we're too culturally selfish because, this kind of thing, I've said before, Gee, you've said it too, friends don't ask friends to drive them to the airport.
And I still will drive people to the airport.
If you go anywhere else, like I visited family in Ecuador, a cousin that we had never met that was like a third cousin came to the airport, met us there. We get hosted for a whole week. Everyone takes the week off of work. They show us all around. And I'm thinking to myself, if I had never met someone before in my life, there's no way that A, they'd be staying in my house, and B, I'm picking them up from the airport. I might meet them for lunch. I don't know. Are we too isolationist here?
I think Margot from Lake Stevens says it's called being a friend. I would still do it. And I know that my friend Sharon, that you know too, every time I've gone on a trip, she's asked, hey, do you need a ride to the airport, or do you need? And I know that she's sincere. So I think it just depends.
Yeah.
And I drop people off at the airport all the time or pick them up.
Well, let me just be crystal clear with everyone.
Yeah.
If you ask me to do something, I am judging you about how much money I think you got. Example.
Good point.
If this somebody in their if Steven or Eric, in their 20s and stuff like that, come pick them up from the airport, great. Need help moving? Great.
Yes.
No problem.
And we've helped them move a lot.
You see what I'm saying?
Yes.
My homeboy, Mike Bible, Rick, all them kind of stuff, you know what I'm saying? All my big homies.
When you're like, they can afford it.
You in your 40s and you asking for me to come help you move? You better pay some damn movers and you better take a ride share.
And don't insult me with the pizza and soda.
I'm totally judge you based on your economic funds.
I absolutely agree with that. All right. Man, I have a confession to make. I shared some fake news this morning with G. Very, very fake news.
And by the way,
was it intentionally or
no? And by the way,
sometimes you get suckered.
I took it from Chef and put it in the text thread of some other fellas.
Oh no!
So we've been going back and forth. So I just had to tell them, sorry guys, that was fake news.
Oh no!
Okay, so allegedly and provably false, TCU quarterback Josh Hoover, he's a star player, was attending a furry convention. A photo of him that was doctored was posted online, and then a doctored post of his own social media said, "Yep, that's me." And I was remarking to G this morning, like, isn't it crazy that you have a college athlete who's out as a furry, but we don't have any out gay athletes yet? And it made me think, G, like, if my kid came out as gay, I'm sorry, not gay, but as a furry, like, how would you respond if your child actually, unlike this fake story, came out and said, hey, you know what? This is my lifestyle.
I'm going to go ahead and go first.
Okay.
I would accept it.
A furry.
Ursula's head is in her hands.
Hold on, Ursula. I know for a fact that if one of your kids came to you and came out as identified as a furry,
I would say, are you okay? I said, what you been drinking? If they identified as a furry, no.
Really?
Gee, get real.
What can you do? What can you do?
How about what have you been reading? Why? You can ask a lot of questions, and that whole furry thing, immediately my radar.
What are you gonna do? Send them to furry conversion therapy?
Stop.
Ursula, no, I'm really shocked by this. Hold on.
No, you're not.
I promise you I'm shocked. If one of them came identified as a furry, what are you going to do and say?
No. What I'm shocked about is that you're saying this with a straight face, looking at me. If baby G or Zion came to you and said, Dad, I'm identifying as a furry, I know that you would not accept that.
So what am I going to do?
You're going to go, what up, dude?
And then what?
And then you're going to talk and then just say you're
but
a furry. We're talking about dressing up as a fur. Like, if someone comes around and says, I identify now as a labubu. Are you gonna?
Okay. Well, wait a minute.
No way.
I think that there's levels to this. If you get to the point where you come out,
I'm going to say, do you want some therapy?
If you identify as a furry, that means you have thought long and hard about this, and your reasonings.
No, Gee.
What?
I think you're being punked, is what I think. Seriously, what?
No, I mean, there are legit people that...
They're legit people that are real furries. What can you say? Like, hey, don't be a furry again? What are you going to say?
I think we need to talk to somebody.
Don't wear the costume at Thanksgiving.
What's making you want to identify as a furry? What exactly is a furry? What do you stand for? I'd be asking a lot of questions.
Nick, am I wrong for this, bro? Like, what you gonna say?
You might be onto something there. Yeah, I don't know what you would say there.
What do you say?
Gee, you're never at a loss for words.
I mean,
you would be like,
well, are you
okay.
gonna try to talk them out of it? They've clearly made this decision to be a furry.
I would have a lot of questions. I would be asking, what led you to conclude that you're a furry?
And what
does it mean?
And whatever answer they give you, you wouldn't understand it because you've never met a furry.
I just hope they grow out of it at some point.
See, I know.
Just give it a year, maybe.
All right, text messages, feedback, and then we'll have Ursula's furry words to live by.
Choke Points with Chris Sullivan, presented by Carter Subaru.
So you're heading out for Labor Day. I'm sure your plans are nothing like anybody else's. Yours is the best, and you will never get stuck in traffic. But if you haven't started planning, I'll have a survival guide for you on Choke Points on Seattle's Morning News tomorrow morning.
Stay ahead of our summer traffic nightmare with Chris Sullivan's Choke Points on Seattle's Morning News. Get all of Sully's Choke Points at mynorthwest.com and the KIRO Newsradio app.
Have you stopped to think about how you feel today compared to, say, 10 years ago? Are you noticing changes? Less energy, slow recovery, trouble focusing, maybe even weight gain? What if you could turn back the clock and feel stronger, sharper, and more alive? At Longevity Medical Clinic, we help people do exactly that. For over 3 decades, we've been helping thousands of men and women find out what's really going on inside their bodies and take action to feel better and live longer. With advanced diagnostics and personalized hormone and supplement plans, we uncover what's been holding you back and show you how to optimize your health. Our patients often say, "Now I finally understand what's happening and what to do about it." Take the first step. Call 425-633-1810 or visit longevitymedicalclinic.com to schedule your free consultation. Longevity Medical Clinic. Feel better. Live longer. Let's do it together.
It started as a puddle.
Where?
In the shower.
Uh-oh.
Then the kitchen sink.
Started backing up?
Yeah.
I know where this is going.
Clogged up.
Right. No problem.
Beg your pardon?
There's no clog we can't clear.
You're Dan.
From Apollo Plumbing.
This is going to get pricey.
How about $83?
To clear my drain?
Apollo Plumbing clears main drains every day.
For $83?
83 or it's free.
What's the catch?
No catch. We'll even do a camera inspection.
Why's that?
It's the best way to find the cause of your clog.
And it's included?
No extra charge. Truth is, we hate clogs.
I don't love them.
Seen them all.
Ew.
I promise. There's no clog Apollo can't clear.
Guaranteed.
83 or free.
Goodbye, slow drains.
All it takes is an accessible clean out.
And Apollo gets my drains draining again.
You call, we come, it's fixed.
My heroes.
Just doing our job.
Thank you, Apollo Plumbing.
ApolloPlumbing.com.
Drivers who switch and save with Progressive could save hundreds. With that kind of money, you could go big time. The next time you're out to dinner with friends, you can order the shrimp cocktail for the table. And maybe you'll realize it only comes with 4 shrimp after you've already given away 3, but that one shrimp will be so good. And if you switch and save hundreds, you could get shrimp all the time. Switch to Progressive and you could save big time. For shrimp. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates, not available in all states. Potential savings will vary.
If you love to travel, Capital One has a rewards credit card that's perfect for you. With the Capital One Venture X card, you earn unlimited double miles on everything you buy. Plus, you get premium benefits at a collection of luxury hotels when you book on Capital One Travel. And with Venture X, you get access to over 1,000 airport lounges worldwide. Open up a world of travel possibilities with the Capital One Venture X card. What's in your wallet?
Terms apply. Lounge access is subject to change. See CapitalOne.com for details.
Recovery is deeply personal and can look different for everyone. Recovery takes more than persistence and resilience. It takes support. Get help navigating your recovery journey, no matter where you are. Every step you take to navigate substance use and mental health challenges can help you reach your recovery goals. And staying connected to treatment and support makes long-term success more likely. Visit samhsa.gov/recoverme to find support and create a recovery plan that works for you.
Millions of Americans take medicine like Ozempic and Zepbound. Many of them are overpaying by thousands of dollars a year.
These GLP-1 medications for diabetes, weight loss, and more may not always be covered by your insurance, but GoodRx can help. GoodRx helps you save every month on prescriptions at over 70,000 pharmacies nationwide. Best of all, it's free to use. Check GoodRx to save on GLP-1s. Just go to GoodRx.com/GLP. That's GoodRx.com/GLP. GoodRx is not insurance, but can be used instead of insurance, including Medicare and other federal and state-funded programs.
Endless hours of research, seeking referrals, dozens of calls. Hiring the right attorney can be a challenging process during an already difficult time. JP Pendergast with Pendergast Law explains.
In Washington State, Tom, there are thousands of attorneys to choose from. Referrals and online research can be helpful, but discovering the right attorney requires a conversation. It can be hard to identify integrity and authenticity without that interaction.
So, what do you recommend?
We encourage anyone looking for personal injury representation to call for a free consultation with our team before making a decision simply based on referrals or online research. Accident victims need an attorney that listens, demonstrates honesty, and is genuinely understanding of their unique circumstances. The care, attention, and preparation that our firm provides throughout the case mirrors the effort involved when taking on the insurance companies.
Save time and avoid mistakes after an injury. Contact the caring and compassionate team at Pendergast Law.
If you or a loved one has been injured in a car accident, call Pendergast Law. We can help.
Hey, college students, get 5% off at Safeway with your student ID in the app. With FreshPass, save on produce and enjoy free delivery. EBT users get additional savings. Visit Safeway.com/4U. That's FOR in the letter U.
Here's a question. Why are more and more discerning Seattleites choosing Horizon House's new West Tower? They're getting the best views, floor plans, and pre-construction pricing. They're doing it now, and here's why. Because half the residences are already reserved, and they know these advantages won't last. Learn more now at westtowerinfo.org. That's westtowerinfo.org. westtowerinfo.org.
It's Gee and Ursula, everybody. Appreciate you guys hanging out on the show. Ursula, I'm looking forward to. I got an appointment up in Blaine, Washington, to get my Nexus pass. So I have an interview for that. So I'm heading up to Blaine. So shout out to Blaine. I do plan on going to, was it, Chef, Drayton Oyster House?
Drayton Harbor Oyster.
Yeah. I'm gonna have me some oysters. All right, Ursula, let's get to these text messages.
Okay. Well, first of all, I want to clarify because not everybody knows what a furry is.
Okay.
Okay, and I threw in Labubu. Okay, Google that one. But so you can think of it as this fandom that is built around animals with human traits, like Bugs Bunny to Disney's Robin Hood. Some people enjoy the art or the stories, but others create an entire persona, a character that represents them. And yes, some furries will wear full-on costumes, these mascot-style suits, and head to conventions where it's all celebrated. Do people identify as furries? For some, it's a fun hobby. For others, it's part of who they are. I would still stick with my answer. If one of my sons came to me and said, I now identify as a furry, I would have a long conversation with them, and then I would also offer therapy. I'm just being honest.
Yeah. Okay, Ursula, on our conversation centered around what should be the ideal meal when helping someone move, Mariah in Gold Bar says, Gee, in your 20s, yes, pizza and beer. Any older than 30 and hiring some damn movers. Not even.
Facts.
I'm over moving my own crap, too.
Facts, too. Like I said, you don't want to injure yourself. The melancholy that comes along with big transitions, like kids going off to college. I know a lot of you parents are feeling that right now. Patricia on Mercer Island said, the only mistake my mom made with me was letting me drop out of college because I was so homesick when I was a freshman. I promised myself not to do that with my kids.
Oh, that's the good stuff. Ursula, we talked about Southwest Airline and the price ticket for extra being for bigger people. 206 says the average price of a domestic round-trip air ticket in 1975 was $550, which is equivalent to $3,500 today. The average price right now is $366 in today's dollars. No wonder the airlines try to cram as many seats as possible onto a plane. If we as Americans, we're not so cheap and we're willing to pay a bit more, maybe they would only have 4 or 5 across instead of 6.
Those are facts. And think about it. Have you ever taken a flight that is so much longer to save $50? Okay, you haven't. Okay,
You do all the time. Ursula, it's now time for your words to live by. What you got?
This is a quote from Irving Wallace because I was thinking about keeping things real. To be oneself and unafraid, whether right or wrong, is more admirable than the easy cowardice of surrendering to conformity. Sometimes it takes some courage to be real.
That's a good words to live by right there, Ursula. All right, Nick. What do you got?
Well, it might just be a guess while we endure this hotter wave, but I think these are the last days before weather misbehaves, and already we hear stories of some kids playing sick in bed in attempts for an escape for those first school days just ahead. And I'd bet there are some kids who'll even give bribing a try with some pizza and some beer, thinking that'll get them by. And if you're going to try that, please do it as a human and not as a furry. If you're going to approach your parents, just for all of us. Don't be a furry.
G's taking up for furries today.
Okay.
Do you know anyone who's a furry?
I don't.
Okay.
I don't. I just want you to know, I take up. So check this out. When I think of furries, which, by the way, I've never met a furry in my life, I really think about goth. And I remember that in military school that there were some kids, they would get out of their uniforms, and in their rooms, they couldn't be outside of their rooms, Ursula. You weren't allowed to wear civilian clothes. But inside of their rooms, they would dress up goth, and they would all they would congregate in this, I want to say his name, but in his room.
Yeah.
And so I would go in there.
Safety in numbers.
And I would talk to them about being goth. And I really learned a lot. Like that was their way of, like, they felt more seen. I don't know.
I hear you.
I don't understand it. Good stuff, Ursula.
We'll see you on Wednesday.
See you. Yep, there we go. Chef, take care, brother. Appreciate you. Nick, thank you.
You too, man.
The Jake and Spike Show comes in next. Appreciate you for listening. Love you for that. And as always, be kind.
Hope you had as much fun as we have. So long, everybody.
I just should have been
From the roof to the deck, the siding to the gutters, and energy-efficient windows, State Roofing and Exteriors is your one-stop shop for home protection. With over 55 years serving Western Washington, we don't just work here, we live here. We know what your home is up against when the cold sets in and the rain starts falling. Right now, we're making it easier than ever to get started with 0 down, 0 payments, and 0 interest for 24 months. Call 866-ROOF-ROOF or visit stateroofing.com to schedule your free, no-pressure estimate.
State Roofing, the last roof you'll ever need.
Hartley Wilcox here from Wilcox Family Farms. I've really enjoyed meeting so many of you at our recent egg demo events. I'm often asked, are omega-3 eggs really better for you? They sure are. Omega-3 eggs are an incredible source of natural omega-3s, providing on average 3 times that of other eggs. Eating omega-3 eggs promotes strong bones and joints and is proven to reduce cholesterol and blood pressure. Choose Wilcox Family Farms eggs today. Locally fresh since 1909.
Ron is a musician.
Guitar is my love, and the thought of losing that ability was devastating.
You see, Ron was suffering from osteoarthritis.
I was starting to have pain, especially in my right thumb. I had gone to an orthopedic specialist, and they were coming up with options like fusing the joints together.
That's when Ron decided to see Dr. Mark Wagner, MD, at Seattle Sports and Regenerative Medicine for stem cell therapy.
The results are astounding. I couldn't have imagined it working as effectively as it has.
Should recommend this to other people?
Oh, wholeheartedly. I am quite the fan of the stem cell therapy.
So, whether it's a shoulder, hip, knee, or even your thumb, before you choose surgery, consider stem cell therapy with Dr. Mark Wagner, MD, at Seattle Sports and Regenerative Medicine. Schedule your consultation at drmarkwagnermd.com.
I'm singing from rooftops. Go see Dr. Wagner.
Guys, did you know your testosterone level impacts your energy, libido, sleep, weight, hair loss, mood, and even ED? And right now, Revive Men's Health Seattle will check your testosterone for free. They've helped thousands of men since 2011 feel and perform better. They're so confident they can help you, they even guarantee it. Schedule your free testosterone test, exam, and consultation today
Call 206-529-1111. That's 206-529-1111. Or visit ReviveMen'sHealth.com.
Your best source for local news. KIRO Newsradio. Northwest News.
Viking, dedicated to creating travel experiences